Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good morrow, whatever. And welcome to another Doctor Who audio commentary. This is a bit of a double bill, actually. We are doing an audio commentary on two Doctor Who stories in Series 2, or Season 28 for you completists. Last time, we did a commentary on Rise of the Cybermen / The Age of Steel, which was one story in two parts, and that's available for you to go and watch. Today we are doing a double bill. We are watching The Idiot's Lantern and Impossible Planet Satan Pit. So two stories. I know it's 3 episodes, but two of them make a two-parter. So The Idiot's Lantern and then The Impossible Planet / The Satan Pit. So yeah, these are ones that I haven't watched from David Tennant's era for quite a while, I must say. These are some of my sort of my the ones I sort of am into the least. But yeah, no, it should be interesting to rewatch them in David Tennant's first season. So, joined by Jack once again, and just like before, this is just a fan-based commentary. This is not a profit-based thing. We can't show the images for legal reasons, so you'll hear the audio. But if you want to follow with us, then put your DVD or Blu-ray into 0 and then follow us. Although, if you're on the Blu-ray, you will have to follow us on 1 hour, 36 minutes, 33 if you want to like run the episode smoothly. Otherwise, you can select them individually. That's up to you. If you're on the DVD, then I know that there is one disc which covers just these. Well, actually, no. I can't remember how the DVD disc works, but if you have the DVD discs, you may have to change discs. But anyway, I'll let you work that out because I can't work it out. So, yeah, Jack, is there anything you want to say before we begin?
Do you want to maybe just do a countdown for all 3 of them after we finish and just go to the menu, or to make it easier for people? Or...
Well, no, because I've got it set up now, Jack. I've got it set to where it was on the Blu-ray. So,
that's fair enough. Yeah.
I think the audience can decide how they want to follow it. If they've got the Blu-ray, they'll know how it's split, and if they've got the DVD, they'll know how it works. But it's up to the audience at the end of the day. We'll try our best. But anyway, so yeah, I'm ready when you are, Jack. So do you want to do the countdown?
Yeah, sure. Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Starting with The Idiot's Lantern.
Yeah, Magpie. I've always found this an underrated episode. I know a lot of fans don't really care for this one. I think it gets a mixed reaction from fans. Like, some fans really like it, some don't. But I've always thought it's a good episode, like quite creepy.
I've never really liked. When I first saw it, I wasn't a fan of it, but I did watch it again a few years ago, and it was a bit better than I remembered it to be. But it's probably one of my least favorite David Tennant stories. I don't know why. It's never grabbed me. Like, it's probably better than, looking back on it now, it's better than Love and Monsters and Fear Her. But I always just thought it was kind of under average. But yeah, that may change.
No, I've always liked it, and I like the 50s setting and the whole concept of the wire. I think it's interesting. But yeah, there he is, Derek Branning.
Yeah, the actor Jamie Foreman, who plays Derek Branning in EastEnders, is quite good in this story.
Yeah. I am Derek Branning.
Yeah, there's an interesting family dynamic in this story. The young boy Tommy is he's quite good. Although I think the dynamic is good. I don't think he's that good. The actor, he could be a bit more emotive, but yeah.
I like the atmosphere of one.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with some of the Dutch angle shots to give the opening sort of an uneasy feel, which is good.
Yeah.
The only thing I always found weird about this story was the fact that he was basically working for a woman inside a TV. Like, I don't know why he's that scared by it. I mean, she can't exactly jump out and grab him. I mean, I know she sucks people's faces, but like, I don't know. I always thought Magpie was a bit of a wimp. Yeah, really.
Well, she was going to suck his face off, so that's the reason why it's working for her. And
That sounds
essentially, there's nothing she can do essentially if there's nothing he could do essentially if his face has been sucked off. But yeah,
you just turn off the TV.
well, it'll just turn itself back on.
Ooh. I mean, one thing I will say is I'm not really a fan of David Tennant's haircut in this story. I know he's gonna go for like an old 60s slicked back, greaser sort of style, but it just looks weird. Like, I would have rather he kept his original hair, like his sticky uppy, spiky hair. But it's only a minor criticism.
Yeah, well, I think this is 52 when Queen Elizabeth gets coronated. I kind of like this. I think it's kind of funny. Like, I mean, I don't mind the quiff that he goes for this. Like, it's just one episode, and it's in the 50s, and yeah.
I mean, no, it's only a minor complaint, but yeah, I just think he's better suited to how his hair normally is. But I quite like Rose's outfit in this story.
I think this is nice humor. This is quite funny. I like this, and I think this episode, the attention to details are really good. Like with the 50s houses, like the TV sets, and the whole look of the houses and the streets and everything. They did a really good job of sort of matching 1950s Britain. But yeah,
that's true. I thought over there we actually got to hear Billie Piper's American accent, which was kind of funny. And David Tennant's like Elvis impression.
Yeah, that was quite nice. Yeah,
it's funny actually. Rose is not in a lot of this story because she gets her face sucked off, and don't take that the wrong way. Yeah, very easy to perceive that in the wrong way. No, it's a good episode. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's a flawed. I just think it's a bit flawed. That's all.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say it's like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but I've always enjoyed it. I mean, I think it's a good story. I do like the attention to detail there, like the house and the rug and the clothes and everything. They did a really good job of making this look like 50s Britain, like 50s household.
Yeah. And I like the fact that it's set during the sort of the rise of the televisions as well, and everyone was sort of buying one to get to watch the coronation. I mean, they do make good of the event. I'll give it that. I don't know. I just never found the story that engaging. I mean, it's certainly it's decent. I'd say it's decent. It's better than Fear Her, better than Love and Monsters. But for me, I don't know if it's better than any of the other stories.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say it's like the strongest in series 2, but I mean, I'd probably take it over New Earth, and Idiot's Lantern, and I take it over Fear Her and
Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've always liked it. Like, I like the setting. I mean, I do like some of the drama here, like the drama between the father and his son and wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's kind of, I think the reason why he's like really angry is because he just came back from the war and like the world's different and he just kind of, he's a control freak. He sort of wants things to go in his way. And
the dad.
Yeah, the dad, yeah. Played by the actor like Derek Browning in Easties, but yeah.
Uh-oh.
Funny, the Magpie Electricals did a nice little Easter egg to that in the Faceless Ones animation. There's like a shop in the background.
Yeah, I thought I recognized it. I always wondered if this story referenced that somewhere. And I guess because this story has faceless people in it, it's kind of inspired from the Faceless Ones a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think I prefer the Faceless Ones to this, but I still like the Idiot's Lantern. But no, for the animated Faceless Ones DVD, they did have Magpie Electricals in the background, which is nice Easter egg to this story. But
Yeah. Funny, as soon as the Doctor and Rose arrive, I mean, they don't get a chance to sightsee. They always just go after looking for trouble. It's just the way the Doctor rolls. He thrives on a situation.
yeah. Well, he always gets near danger, doesn't he? Always near danger.
Mm.
I mean, I personally think Bells of St. John, like, kind of sort of copies his story, the whole faceless people as well, like, you know, and they can put the people in the Wi-Fi, but yeah.
A little bit, but not really. I mean, that idea perhaps, but they are two very different stories, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I'd take Idiot's Lantern over Bells of St. John. I think the sort of spoon heads were sort of ridiculous, and some of the stuff in there, like, you know, the Doctor and Clara was just a bit weird, but
yeah. Well, we may well get to those stories in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, the woman that plays the wire, the woman inside the TV, she's quite good. You know, she gives a chilling performance, but yeah, some of the dialogue they give her is a bit cheesy, like that. I'm so hungry, feed me, and all of that. And the Master kind of says that in the end of time, which is even cheesy as well.
No, I will agree. It is a little cheesy, yeah, but I mean, Doctor Who is a bit cheesy. I mean, I like some of the angles in this story. I mean, I think Euros Lynn is a good director. I mean, he directed stuff in series 1 and 2, and I think series maybe 3 and 4 as well. But I think he's a good director, and I think Mark Gatiss is one of Doctor Who's most rated directors. I mean, Quiet Dead was great, and I like this story, and he's done a few others. I'm trying to think of series 3 and 4, but he did. But yeah.
And obviously, Mark Gatiss has appeared in the show as well. He was Professor Lazarus in the next series, which is
yeah, and I think he wrote that as well, Lazarus Experiment. Yeah. And maybe he should have become the producer after Russell T Davies, but instead he gave it to Moffat. But yeah. This is some good drama here, I think, between the dad and the son. Like, he's a control freak.
Yeah, he's just so aggressive.
Yeah. He's a great villain in EastEnders as well. Unfortunately, Derek Branning, then they had to kill him off that stupid heart attack. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit silly. It's good when the Doctor comes in and tells him off. It's quite good.
Yeah.
Eddie. And I'm not listening.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's quite good later on, yeah.
And there he is. I like David Tennant's blue shirt there, actually.
Yeah. I love the way Tennant just barges in.
Mrs. Connolly.
Yeah. Like, you can tell he's sort of shocked. Like, he doesn't have people talk back to him because he's sort of the man of the house.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is sort of a good representation of what life was like back then. Like, men back in the day were a lot more like, you know, sort of stiff upper lip, don't cry, you know, act like a man. I'm the boss of the family, sort of thing.
Yeah, they were more dominating. I mean, you wouldn't get an episode like this in fucking Chris Chibnall era, Chris Shipnall as I call him. But yeah, with the fucking with the Me Too movement now, we wouldn't go back to a story like this.
Chris Chin Balls, yeah.
Stephen Moffat Pratt. Wow, Rose actually knows something.
Although saying that, she is a bit of a hypocrite because in the series 1, two-parter, Empty Child and Dr. Dances, she says, I got a Union Jack across my chest. I mean, maybe she found out later that they were called Union Flag, but yeah.
Yeah, she probably discovered that afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is a common misconception of the public, like Union Jack, it is Union Flag, but yeah. Like, it's brilliant, good man. The way he's just busting him about.
Give him a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I like the whole like rise of the TV sort of thing in this. I mean, it's called Idiot's Lantern because people back then thought like TVs were like dangerous. Like it was new technology people didn't understand. Hence, you know, the term Idiot's Lantern. Well, yeah, I mean, this is a good moment here.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
He's one of a dickhead.
Bit of trouble.
I mean, look at the look in his face. Like he's never been talked down to like that. He's usually the guy who's talking down to others.
Yeah, it's like just tell me what's going on.
Yeah. Kind of creepy, but yeah.
It's like he's just trying to brush it under the rug when he really shouldn't. I mean, it's you know, they're all.
I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's because he's a control freak. He just doesn't want anything out of place. So that's why he just locks her away. Like he doesn't want, you know. I think he like it's sort of a pride thing as well. He doesn't want to be like seen as like you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think also they've seen other people like that guy at the start got taken away in a van, so they think that if she's exposed, they'll just take her away, and he doesn't want that, obviously.
This is quite creepy. The old woman without a face.
You know, I mean, one thing that this story does have over the faceless ones is the effects. The sort of like the faces, the fact that they want to make them faceless. Obviously, technology's evolved, and this does look a bit better. But I'm not knocking the faceless ones, of course. But it's nice that we can actually see a sort of clearer effect this time. But obviously, in the faceless ones, sort of different stories, different aliens. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean they've done a good job with like the face. Like there's still texture on the skin, even though the eyeballs and nose and everything is gone. Like they did a good job with that. Like that effect still holds up today. Oh, shit.
Oh, now they're taking her away. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the dad is such a dick. I mean, like he doesn't want like he doesn't want any drama because he doesn't want to like to be seen like as odd to the other people on the street. It's like a pride and like a control sort of thing about him, but yeah.
I am talking,
and I'm not listening. I mean, I like the stuff about the wire. Like, I mean, it's like they found out that the wire was like executed and took sort of like some kind of electrical form, and it feeds off electrical, you know, the electricity of the brain. But I mean, I like that stuff here, like, you know, because back then Britain, not many people did have televisions until loads of people bought them for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. But
yeah. Shame on you. Rose is quite sarky in this episode. I think she's kind of starting to act a bit more like the Doctor. You know, not controlling, but like sort of, you know, taking control of certain situations if she's ever on her own. Like that there, she just
in a sort of cocky attitude.
Yeah.
I like some of the angles in this, like, Urslin's direction, like the angles, the Dutch angles, sort of creates more atmosphere. Yeah.
I agree, and sometimes for Doctor Who, it benefits because they want to make you feel scared and uneasy, and a Dutch angle is a very good way of accentuating that. I remember learning about Dutch angles in college. It's funny. There's a lot of wide shots as well. There's quite a few darkly lit shots. I've only just realised this now since rewatching the story.
Yeah, I agree, and it creates atmosphere as well, which is nice. But, yeah. Actually, I can kind of see what you're saying now about Tennant's haircut. It is a bit rubbish. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's all right.
I don't know why.
Story, but yeah, it just looks a bit odd on him. I don't think it could be a look that would stick with him as the Doctor. I mean, yeah, he's done it for the time, fair enough, but I'm glad he changes his hair back to like the spiky, sticky uppy that he normally has.
It looks like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
The haircut, yeah. Like the Elvis. I mean, this stuff here is quite creepy for all the faceless people. I mean, I always liked this one because I just found it a creepy episode. And like, all the people without their faces, I just found that really kind of scary as a kid. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty freaky, the effects that they've managed to create.
Ugh. It's kind of creepy. I mean, I think the quest's all right, but yeah, like you said, it's good it was only one episode that, we had the quest. Because it'd be kind of shit if he stuck with that look.
Who are those guys? Like this in FBI or something?
I think they're the police. Like, they're just sort of trying to keep this quiet because if people find out, it would be, it would just people would sort of panic. Yeah. There's a BBC logo there.
Yeah.
Old BBC logo on those old TVs, but yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. It's a little bit cheesy, but I mean, I do think the woman who plays the Wire is kind of creepy. Like, she's quite good. Yeah. Yeah. I like that shot. Like, if you see the inside of the television with the Wire, like her perspective. That's quite well done.
I wonder who the actress is. I mean, considering they just gave her lines, she just had to sit in front of a screen and just say her lines. She does a good job.
Yeah. I kind of like the fact that Rose is sort of more confident as a companion. I just sort of see her progression as a companion. She's not afraid to just try and find out stuff for herself instead of just waiting for the Doctor to tell her what to do. But,
yeah, it's nice when you see companions sort of take charge a bit more. Like Martha had to do that in Human Nature and Family of Blood. Donna did that in Fires of Pompeii when she told the Doctor, when she put him in his place, essentially. And like here with Rose, obviously Idiot's Lantern, so it's nice they all get their moments to do things without the Doctor. And I think it's important to show that companions, they are independent. They're not just relying on the Doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, when we do our scores, we'll do the Idiot Lantern score at the very end when we've watched all 3 episodes.
Yeah,
that'll probably be easier because the Blu-ray just goes straight into the next episode. So.
Yeah. This is quite good. Yeah, I like that perspective of the inside of the TV. Yeah.
Hungry.
That's it. Face off. Ooh.
It's a bit, yeah, tragic when we see Rose has undergone this.
Yeah.
I do
I
like
do
the
think it is kind of. Yeah, I agree with you. The effect's good. Oh shit. Ooh.
Well,
And now breaking into this establishment. Are you connected with this? Make no mistake. What is Detective Inspector Bishop? How do you know my name?
Detective Inspector Bishop.
I'm inside your collar.
Bless your mum.
I'm doing everything in my power. All you're doing is grabbing those places, people and hiding them, making all this from above. All this from above.
Tennant's quite good in this.
Yeah, Tennant's very like I think Tom Baker, David Tennant, and the other like the first three Doctors. They're all very consistent. To be fair, it's like I think 5 to 7 weren't very consistent. Matt Smith could be a bit inconsistent. Yeah.
Yeah. Eccleston was pretty consistent as well.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I will say about Dave Tennant, and it's not really criticizing him, but I don't really like the fact that he doesn't wear his coat much in his episodes. I really like him. I think his outfit looks better with the big long coat. I mean, I don't mind it this, but I mean, a lot of his stories, he just sort of doesn't wear the coat, or he just sort of leaves it in the TARDIS. I just think he looks more like the Doctor with the big brown coat on, but that's just
Yeah. I mean, he does wear it sometimes, and I think in the episode The Doctor's Daughter, he wears it quite a lot, but it depends what he's doing. I mean, how much he has to. I mean, he has run in that coat before, but I think if he has a lot of physical stuff to do, like he doesn't always wear it, but he does wear it a fair amount actually. But no, I can understand your point. But I think it's it's fine, neither here nor there for me. I mean, personally.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a gangster with that pinstripe suit and the oil back hair. Yeah. He looks like Reggie Cray or something like that.
Yeah. My name's the Doctor, but I'm actually called Reggie Cray.
That's a good impression.
Thank you.
I love that film. Legend's a great film.
That is a very good film. So sorry.
And then there's like Ronnie Cray's like, Reggie, what are you doing? Mike. This is a good scene.
I watched the outtakes of this scene. It was hilarious. They put dots on Billie Piper's face to CGI it out, and it was making David Tennant laugh.
I wonder if that's on the Blu-ray. I might watch that.
I love that line. He says, "Now there is no power on this earth that can stop me." That's a very Doctor line, if you know what I mean. It's like a typical one of his like classic moments, I think, where he's like he gets angry and then he gets fired up and he's ready to take this thing on.
Yeah. What a dick.
Yeah. I think she divorced him, doesn't she?
I think so, yeah. He's just a controlling, manipulative bastard. He's a control freak. He's a perfectionist, He thinks, what, I'm the top man, I'm the father of the house,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good portrayal of sort of the family life back then. Like, the men of the house usually were a lot more aggressive, like, sort of, don't cry, son, stiff upper lip, you're the man in the house, sort of man's man kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, bless her.
Mm.
Maybe we can pop up and see her later.
Sort of fall into line kind of thing, you know. Like he doesn't like his son, you know, talking back to him or you know.
Yeah.
All he loves is grand little one. Proper little mummy's boy all round. Oh, you know what they say.
I mean, there is
Supposed to be a mummy's boy.
yeah. I mean, there is a decent
Prick.
family drama here. For me, I think one of the main problems of this story is I think the pacing is a tiny bit slow. I think it's starting to drag a little bit.
It's fine for me, like it's not really dragging for me, but
Mr. Connolly, shut your face. Whoever you are.
oh,
Handle this animal.
he really is a dick.
You are the only cradle, so I don't expect you to understand. But I've got a position that I tell you. People around here respect me. It matters what people think. Is that why you did it then? What do you mean? What? You rested already? How else would the police know where to look? Unless some coward told them. How?
Yeah.
You think I fought a war just so I'm mouthy little scum like you who call me a coward? Don't get it, do you?
Mm.
You fought against fascism.
The thing is, he did. Like someone would point this out recently in their review of this story, but he did fight for people for freedom, for choice. That was the whole point of World War II. You know, to not have dictators like him and like Hitler. You know.
Mm.
You know.
Been informing on everyone.
I'm not convinced by the son as an actor. I mean, he's okay, but I just find him a little bit wet. If you know what I mean? He's just some of his deliveries a bit. Yeah, you know, he could be a bit better.
Yeah, what a bastard.
Yeah.
I quite like this here. Like he cares more about his reputation to other people in the street, and like
And his
he
own
cares
family.
more about being. Yeah. Exactly. He cares more about his image and being a control freak than he does being like a proper dad and a husband. You know.
Yeah.
We know Roddy locked under our roof, all right, but it weren't my mother.
Oh, yeah. Tommy, come with me. Just the way he held his hand out there, I was expecting him to say, "Come with me," like he does in the Fires of Pompeii.
That was the sound of something ending.
Yeah, the dad really is sort of like an old man in a new man's world. Like he's come back from World War II. This is literally like a few years after the end of World War II, and he
Yeah.
said there about well, what did I fight for to have people like you, say all this stuff, and it's like, well, yeah, you did. You fought for people's liberty from a fascist dictator, like, and you fought for people's right to choose what they want to do, not to be controlled by fascists like you or Hitler,
Yeah. I mean, not only that, he's just a prick. He's just not a nice guy, as well.
Yeah.
Just a magpie.
That's one thing I don't get. Why does he do that?
He
Get
licks
that.
things. I think he just brings a couple those weird elements of the Doctor. I mean, he's an alien, so maybe it's his way of sort of like reading signals or something. I don't know, but it's quite amusing.
Yeah. He's done that before, but yeah. I thought this is quite creepy where you got the faces on the television sort of saying, "Help me." Like,
I'm so sorry.
it is quite creepy, but
Doctor
there's Rose.
Rose. Rose, I'm coming to get you.
I want my friend restored. I think that's the electrician to tell me who's really in charge here.
That's very good.
He's very commanding in this story.
Sorry, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Brought this on yourselves. May I introduce you to my new friend?
Jolly nice to meet you.
Oh my God, is that woman off the telly? No, it's just using her image.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm the wire.
The Wire.
And I will gobble you up, pretty boy.
What? Such a terrible line.
It kind of sounds sexual. Like,
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
gobble you up.
Oh.
I do like this bit where she turns to color, though. That's good.
Mm. Not many TVs had color at this point, did they?
No, none of them did. Like,
Uh.
there's that line. He's like, "Oh my God, color television."
It feeds off the electrical activity of the brain, but it gorges itself like a great overfed pig, taking people's faces.
Yeah.
It stuffs itself.
Yeah.
Magpie.
In my face. She's promised to release me at the time of manifestation. Exactly.
Well, to be fair, he could just destroy all of his TVs. I know he'd go out of business, but it'd save his life, you know. That's why I just don't buy the whole thing of him being her prisoner when she's inside a television. I know she's threatening to suck his face off, but not in a sexual way. But just, you know, like, he's just thought. That's why I think he's a wimp, because he could do something like about this. You know, he could destroy his TVs, or just, you know, sell his business to someone else or something like that. There are ways for him to get out of this situation. That's why, like, part of the reasons why I think this story is a bit flawed. Like, not that it's like bad or anything. I mean, it's a decent story, but yeah, the whole Magpie thing is a bit. I think could have been rewritten.
I mean, the Magpie thing doesn't bother me because, like, you know, I mean, even if he sold his business, someone else would just, you know, take over. I mean, she's sort of an electrical current, so she could just sort of, you know, she'd go into a radio, she'd find him anyway, you know, like, I mean, if it wasn't him, it would be someone else who would come in and then she would just use them, but, yeah, like.
Yeah.
Conduct me to my victim.
Magpies.
I will admit, though, there are some, yeah, I can understand, like, some sort of lines that are a little bit, you know, cringy if you take it out of, you know, context, like, you know, the hungry and, you know, feed me and, you know. Yeah.
She does get a bit annoying after a while.
Yeah.
Everyone all right for Paul?
No, but it's an interesting, like, thing about the wire that's, like, being executed and, you know, turned into this electrical current and, you know, escaped into the television and, yeah. I just kind of find that creepy, like the face and the sort of twitching, but... So what
Yeah.
were you going to say?
Yeah. I know. I was just the boy when he woke up. He was like, "Oh, whoa."
Yeah.
Alexander! It's big TV transmitting from North London. Oh, how quite chose this place. Tommy, what are you going to do? Going shopping.
We're going shopping.
Yeah. I mean, I never. I mean, the actor who plays the boy, whatever, Tommy, like, I think he's all right, to be honest. I mean, I can understand if you think he's a bit underwhelming in the role, but, like,
Yeah.
it never bothered me. I think he's okay. I mean, I'm not going to say he's like the greatest actor ever, but it doesn't really bother me.
Well, I think also the role is underwritten. It's. I mean, I know he's like there's some drama with his dad, and then he gets involved in the finale of the story, but he just kind of like sits around. He doesn't do a lot really in the story. But yeah, no, it's partly in the writing. I think. I don't think this is a bad episode. It's a good episode. For me, it's just flawed. Like, I would just say it's decent. Like, you know, one of the weaker ones of the series, but still enjoyable. You know, it's fun.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna say it's a masterpiece, like 10 out of 10. It's on my favorite of series 2. But I mean, I always enjoyed it. I always thought it was like a good story. But yeah,
Mm. Oh, shut up, woman. She tends to get a bit on my nerves.
yeah. Shut up, bitch. Well,
Feed me. So, yeah, we get it.
I've always enjoyed it because I kind of like the drama in it. I like the historical 50s setting, and I do like the stuff about the wire, like wanting to suck people's faces off, like it feeds on the electromagnetic, like
Yeah. Just think the
the
Wire
electricity and like the
dialogue.
rise of the TV. But, yeah.
Yeah, the Wire's dialogue though just completely ruins it. Well, not ruins it, but it doesn't help it. It's a shame.
It does get a bit annoying after a while, but I suppose like yeah.
Your Majesty, what?
Might take it over the balls of St. John, but
Yeah. Does Magpie die in the story? I can't remember.
I know I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it in a few years, but yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe he flew away like a magpie. Uh-oh. Was that a practical effect, him climbing up that antenna?
Possibly. I mean, there may be some green screen involved, but yeah, they have a wide shot of it, so. Hmm.
The wire is tasty.
Yeah. The CGI holds up pretty well in this story compared to some of the other stories from series 1 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the effects are good. I'll give it that.
I mean, watching these episodes in Blu-ray, I mean, you can really notice the quality difference. Like,
Yeah, considering
the
they weren't
DVD.
shot in HD, they were sort of up converted. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I noticed was that all these episodes from series 1 and 2, they look really grainy because of because it was shot in standard definition. But the Blu-ray, they sort of got rid of that fuzzy, grainy effect.
Yeah, it has. I
Like
mean,
every child doctor.
yeah. I mean, there are. Oh, he does die. Yeah, there are ways to remove grain. It's difficult and tedious, but you can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are certain shots which did look fine anyway. But yeah, I see what you mean. But I noticed it when I watched one of the episodes in the Matt Smith era, because I got Series 5 on Blu-ray Steelbook. I watched The Vampires of Venice, and there's a shot in the evening time which has loads of grain on it, and the Blu-ray couldn't really get rid of it. So I think The Vampires of Venice, some of the shots, a different take could have been used, because yeah, obviously like grain happens when there's not enough light, and yeah, it's annoying when there's loads of grain on the screen.
I mean, it's good to keep the grain because film grain is like part of the image, and some people do try to get rid of grain completely, and it just completely destroys the image because grain is part of the image, like the detail of the.
Yeah, if it's a small amount of grain, you can get rid of it, but if it's a huge amount, then you're just going to ruin the image even more. So I had that issue when I shot a scene for one of my Bond films, and in the end, the footage was unusable because I shot it too late in the evening when it was too dark, and I couldn't salvage the footage. I tried to adjust the grain, but it made it worse. So in the end, it was just better to reshoot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad she's gone. Got sick of her screaming, to be honest.
I'm glad, I do think it's quite funny that he tapes over the wire. Like, that is quite funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
One of them is Doctor. Electrical creature, TV technology, vibrating life form? That's me. I turned the receiver back into a transmitter.
His face when he's like, oh shit, he's an alien.
I love that. I just invented the home video 30 years early. Betamax. Love.
God save the Queen.
That is quite funny. He just tapes over, but yeah.
Well, it was a very historical moment. I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, think about it now. I mean, she's still around today. She's in her 90s now. I mean, my God. Good going, Liz.
In 93, yeah.
Mm.
When you think about that, that was, what, 68 years ago?
Oh, he gets his gram back. That's nice.
There's Rose.
The Rose by any other name would smell sweet.
Gorgeous itself like an overfed pig.
How are you, Rose, you stupid overfed pig?
Yeah. This is good. I like this.
Yeah, get out and don't come back.
He was a bastard.
Oh.
I like the stuff here, the street party.
No, it's a nice ending. This episode has a nice end. Sort of like pays homage to the actual event of the time, which I appreciate.
I mean, it's funny, like, you don't really have places like this anymore in, like, London or, like, England, like, Union Jacks everywhere, like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You still have them in, like, Northern Ireland, like, there's a lot of unionist areas with flags and stuff, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy. That's good. Yeah, he's a good ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah, it is sort of a new world, and like, you know, the dad's been left behind because he just couldn't accept that. He just wanted to control everybody and care more about his image.
You're clever enough to say the words to make it say.
And of course, Rose has to stick her oar in.
Yeah. Well, that's nice though. I mean, I do really like Rose in this episode. Like, she's not a bitch or anything. She's actually, I kind of like how the Doctor sort of changed her. Like, that's nice, you know.
Yeah. No, that's good. I suppose also from Rose's point of view, she doesn't have her dad, so you know, she's thinking, well, why should he have to lose his dad over something like this? You know, he could still have his dad in his life, even if he's not going to live with him, you know. So, yeah, I guess she does something nice in that respect.
Yeah, that's nice, yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, even though dad's a prick, he's still your dad, you know. That's the thing, you know, your dad's your dad.
Yeah. I mean, my dad has 5 kids, and I'm one of them. He wouldn't give any of us up, bless him. And he said that to us at one time, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have favoritism when you're a dad either, like favorite kid, you know.
Well, I mean, I am his only son, so I'm his favorite son. But but no, I know what you mean. Yeah. No, he does. He treats us all the same, and you know, there's no you know, yeah, there's no differences really, other than obviously like he's got 4 girls and 1 boy, so just different age gaps. But, yeah, no, that was a good episode. We'll do a sort of overall summary on it later, but I thought it was decent. You know, it was a lot better than I remember it to be, but I don't know if I'm really that much of a fan of The Wire. Like, the performance is hammy, I think, and the dialogue is cheesy, but the concept of The Wire is cool, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's just never been my favorite episode.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've always really enjoyed it. I've always thought it was a really good episode. I mean, I never like give it a 10 out of 10. Like, it's not masterpiece level or anything, but I always thought it was a good Doctor Who story. I never understand why some people hated it, but I mean, as for The Wire, I mean, I like The Wire. I mean, I think the actress gives a good performance, but yeah, I do agree some of the lines and dialogue is a little bit cheesy, and but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I think the actress gives a good performance, but yeah, I mean, I think some of the dialogue does get a bit much when she says hungry. It does get a little bit annoying.
excuse
Yeah.
me. Sorry, I sneezed. Oh
And now
shit!
we're on to Possible Planet Satan Pit.
Yes, the second story of this commentary, which will be fun.
Yeah. And for me, this is a big. I mean, for me, this is a big step up over the previous one.
I agree, and it's a nice way to introduce the Ood.
Yeah. I don't know what my favorite story is. Seriously, it might be this one, might be the Sidemen two-parter or the finale, but yeah. I like the set design for this story. It's great.
Yeah, these sets are pretty good, and there's a nice sense of kind of claustrophobia about this story because it's all quite contained, like this space station.
Yeah. We got the return of, and funnily enough, we reviewed Pyramids of Mars recently. You got the Gabriel Wolf in this story. I think he does the voice of the Beast. But yeah. Guy did Sutek, yeah.
But I thought the TARDIS translation.
I think for me, this is probably the weakest two-parter of the season, but it's still good. From what I remember, it's quite good. I've just not seen it very much. I don't know why. But I think it would be. I think I actually prefer this story to the Idiot's Lantern, personally.
Well, no, yeah, I do as well. I don't know what my favorite story is, Series 2 is. It's either this, the Cyberman two-parter, or the Series 2 finale, but yeah. And I like the Ood. I think they're cool aliens, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this might probably be better than New Earth as well, I'd say.
Yeah, I prefer to New Earth as well.
Yeah. The Ood are scary, actually. They're quite freaky.
Yeah. New Earth's good as well. Oh.
Oh god, I really missed when Russell T Davies stuff was airing on TV. It was just every week it was exciting. Just the 45 minutes. I never wanted it to end. It was just so good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's the thing. Like when Doctor Who was on during the Russell T Davies era, it was required viewing. Like series 1, 2, 3, and 4. I couldn't wait till the next episode because it was mostly very good. I mean, yeah, there were a few clunkers in there, but overall, the vast majority of it was great. And it's kind of a shame that I had the exact opposite effect with the Moffat era, the Matt Smith stuff. Like for me, watching Series 6 and stuff like that, it was just a chore to watch it. It felt more like a chore than like I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to see Wedding a River Song next week.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, but yeah.
There's quite a good supporting cast in this story. I mean, they're all like the crew members and whatnot. I think they all play a good part in this story. I mean, there's quite a bit of depth, I think, in this story as well, compared to the Idiot's Lantern.
Yeah.
But you're a sort of space. You must have visitors now, and it can't be that hard.
Telling me you don't know where you are? No idea.
No idea.
Hi everyone, buckle down. We have incoming, and it's a big one.
Yeah.
3.5 on its way.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, just a minor thing, but like, why couldn't the Doctor just be wearing his coat? Coming out of the TARDIS, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wore his coat quite a bit in the Idiot's Lantern at the very end, which is good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I just feel like a lot of Tennant stories, majority of the Tennant stories, like he doesn't wear his coat as much. I mean, I mean, it's not, it doesn't destroy the episodes or anything, but I just think that Cope sort of completes the look. But that's just me, you know.
Well, I guess to him, he's just kind of dressing casually. I mean, sometimes he just doesn't want to wear it. I suppose it is quite a heavy coat, it's quite long. I mean, yeah, for certain
Yeah.
convenience.
No, I do really like the yeah, I do really like the supporting cast of this one.
Yeah,
You know, I saw an interview recently of Russell T Davies, and he said his favorite story that he wrote, surprisingly, was Gridlock, which I didn't understand, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, I like Gridlock, but to me, it might be the weakest in series 3. Well, actually, potentially Blink. I like Blink, but it's so overrated.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on Blink being overrated. I find some of the Moffat stuff pretty overrated. Like Girl in the Fireplace, I think is good, but I don't really think it's like a masterpiece. You know, it's a good story, but I don't like the Doctor. Sort of having a relationship with Marie Antoinette or whatever it was. Like
Renette, yeah.
oh, sorry, yeah, Madame
Maria,
de Pompadour. That was it. Sorry, Madame.
Madame de Pompadour. Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's same time period.
yeah,
French, 1800s, whatever. But yeah.
yeah. I mean, we'll get to. We might go back. We might backtrack and go through the first few episodes maybe and talk about that one at some point. But yeah, I always liked Girl in the Fireplace. I probably like it a bit less now, but I still do really like it. But yeah, I mean, the whole making Renette fall in love with the Doctor is stupid. Like when you've got Rose, yeah, it seemed a bit pointless. But
Yeah.
it was an emotional episode, so I'll give it that.
No, it was a good episode, but I don't think it's like the best of series 2. I think they're better. I think there are a lot better stories in there, like the Cyberman 2-parter. The finale. Some of the other episodes in there as well. Like
Yeah.
Tooth and Claw. And,
One thing that was excellent in that story was the music. The music was brilliant.
yeah.
And Sophia
The
Myles
Clockwork
was great.
Yeah, she was good, and I like the Clockwork Robots, but yeah, there was some things in there, like you said, her sort of falling in love with the Doctor. Was that really necessary? Like you said, you got Rose, and I mean, I get it. Tennant's a good-looking guy, but like, sort of, they don't need him to fall in love with every female in the room, like in every episode. But I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we're trying to home in on Tennant being the more romantic Doctor. Fair enough, but yeah, it's unnecessary when Rose is in the same story. But I guess it was Moffat's kind of fuck you to that. But there you go.
Yeah.
Well
I mean,
done.
I don't know what that's a good effect, actually. That's aged pretty well, the black hole effect.
Mm.
The lighting in this episode is quite good. I mean, I kind of like this story. It's like a base under siege story, kind of like something you get from the Patrick Troughton era or something. I think that's why I've always really loved this one. But
Yeah. I mean, I find it interesting that they are literally directly under a black hole, but they're not being sucked into it.
yeah, no, I mean that was a bit weird, but don't they explain that they have some kind of shield around them or something?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I think the woman Ida just said that they're like suspended within a shield or something, or like in like a sort of like airlock or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like with Moffat, like I do think, I mean I do really like his episodes from series 1, 2, 3, and 4. But looking back at them, I mean, like when people say they're like the best episodes of the series, they're not really. I mean, there are some really great ones. Like I love Empty Child Doctor Dances. That's great. But even then, I think episodes like Dalek and series 1 finale and Father's Day is better. And then series 2, I think there are better ones in there. And then Blink is probably the most overrated story of all time. I laugh when people like say it's like the best Doctor Who story ever, or like put it in the top 10. Like it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a good story, but it's nowhere near one of the best Doctor Who stories.
I mean, I just personally don't think that the Doctor is in it enough. Considering the previous story we had, he was human for most of that story. It would have been nice to have the next story to have more of the Doctor, if you know what I mean. But no, he appears in those video clips, and then we have Sally Sparrow and her friends in the main lead. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. I mean, it was all right, but yeah, and the Angels was scary. But I just think that's the one problem, that the Doctor's not in it enough. You know, I just prefer it when the Doctor's doing more in the episodes. But there we go.
Yeah. I mean, I think Blink is a really good story, but I've seen people say like, oh, you should watch Blink, you should start Doctor Who by watching Blink, and if you don't like Blink, then you won't like the show. I'm thinking to myself, well, that's a stupid claim, because the Doctor's hardly in that story. It's not really a good showcase for the show either, because it just it focuses on other stuff, like other characters, Sally Sparrow, and
yeah. Like the Doctor, like Martha's in it like for like 2 minutes, comes in at the very end. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think Moffat is the most overrated stories of the show. Like everybody just sort of suck their cocks to the Moffat stuff. Like
God, absolutely.
Like Blink best episode. Yeah, like Blink best episode ever. Like, give me a break. Like stupid, but yeah. By the way, that actress is pretty fit. The one of the tank top.
The young one. Yeah, sadly she doesn't last very long in the story, but yeah, she's very good looking.
I think I mean, I really like this story, but I think Planet of the Ood might be a better Ood story than this.
Yeah, I mean, I've always preferred that one. I just think that it's that slightly bit more emotional. I think when the Donna, not the Donna. So when the Doctor makes Donna listen to their song and stuff, and she breaks down from it. That moment always was powerful for me. But this is good. No, this is great. I mean, I love the design of the Ood. The Ood look terrific. They look really creepy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I still really love this story, but yeah, I think Planet of the Ood is probably better. But they're both, I think they're both like top-notch stories for me anyway. And I do like the Ood. I mean, what I like about them is they're not really monsters. I mean, they're sort of possessed by the devil, I guess you could say, the Satan, in the pit, and that's why they become evil. But they're not really bad. Like, and I kind of like in Planet of the Ood, they explore them more. Like, they find out they have brains in their hands and they sing to each other and stuff. It's quite nice.
Yeah, that's true. I think they have tried to bring the Ood back later, but they feature most prominently in the David Tennant era.
Yeah. To be fair, they kind of wasted them in The Doctor's Wife. Like, they were in there briefly and they had like green eyes, and from the Next Time trailer, they were sort of featured prominently, and they didn't really do much. They were in the episode, but they're sort of in the background of the episode. But yeah,
I don't know if in the Peter Capaldi era they reappeared, but yeah, if they did, I don't remember.
No, I don't think they did. No.
Oh gosh, excuse me.
I was going to say something, then I forgot, but I do think that's the thing about Doctor Who. Like, when Russell T Davies, during his reign of the show, it was a must watch thing. You watch the episode, you'd be thrilled by it, and you're like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode. With Moffat, when Moffat took over, some of the Matt Smith stuff, like and some of the Peter Capaldi stuff as well, is just kind of like, it was a chore to watch it. I mean, you watch you watch like a piece of shit like Let's Kill Hitler, and you kind of, you sort of want to stop watching this show after watching Let's Kill Hitler. But after you watch something like this, or the series 1 finale, or the series 3 finale, and stuff, you want to watch more. But
yeah, and that's the thing. like it became like as it used to be. It was like event TV. It was like the show to watch on TV back in the day, especially in the Tom Baker years. And it was nice that Russell T Davies did that and brought that back, and he obviously reformatted the show. But it works for the 21st century, and they really made it excellent. They really did, and loads of children tune into it, and like families it was just a great show for families, and it's still. I mean, well, I can't say it still is because of the way it is now, but at least we had those 5 years of just golden television.
Yeah, it just became. I think with Moffat, it just sort of became lazy writing. I think he just thought like, oh well, I'm the producer, and Russell T Davies has already built up the show for me, and I'm just gonna slap all any shit on screen and people will watch it, and they did watch it for a while, and then the viewing figures went down, and that's because of Moffat, and he just thinks he could get whatever he wants on the screen, but
yeah, I like the CGI exterior shots of the space station. It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I agree as well. I really like that. I really like you're saying about the claustrophobia in the story. I really like that about the story, and I really like that about a lot of the sort of base under siege stories, like with Troughton, the stories are sort of in a contained area with a monster. It's sort of they're some of my favorite stories, but yeah.
I think sometimes, like you say, it helps to have that sort of confinedness about it. And, it kind of creates a scarier atmosphere. The fact that there's not as much space for the characters to run through or evade. They have to just survive with what little they have. And, it does give that sense of isolation. It's brilliant. And this is probably a credit to this story, this particular story.
Yeah. I mean, Troughton's era was full of base under siege stories, like Power of the Daleks and
the moon base.
The moon base, and most of them, and Fury from the Deep, most of them were base under siege, but they worked because good stories, and I kind of like the sort of claustrophobia there, and
There's also a lot of creepy elements to this story. The fact when one of the characters called Toby, he gets possessed by the hieroglyphics, and his eyes turn red and everything, and he almost becomes the voice of the I think he becomes like the voice of the beast, doesn't he? So it's really weird.
Yeah. No, I'm grateful they brought back Gabriel Wolfe, who did the voice of Sutek, to do the voice of the beast in this story, because he's got a powerful voice, and that's the thing about Rusty Davies that I like, is that when he brought the series back, he did bring a lot of people back from the classic series. Like he brought back Graham Harper's director, he brought back Elizabeth Sladen, Sarah Jane, K9, Gabriel Wolfe for this story, and he brought back a lot of classic monsters, and some classic series actors returned as well.
Yeah. I mean, he brought those old elements back, but it still felt like, in a way, a very different show. Also because of the format of the episodes and the way they were presented, like with 3 2-part stories and all the rest of these single stories, but 45 minutes each long. It's just purely. I think 45 minutes is a good amount of time to be scared and entertained, and it's a good amount of time to tell a short story.
Yeah, I mean, I like the sort of 4-part 25-minute format, but it wouldn't have worked for modern television. I mean, people's attention spans now are a lot shorter, and TV's just changed. You couldn't have it, take place over a month.
Not only that, but I think also the fact of the slots, like the BBC could only guarantee a certain amount of slots per year for Doctor Who at that time, because it was it was being brought back, and people were a bit dubious about it. And like 45 minutes on a Saturday, that was all they could get. So I suppose they had to think about also the amount of scripts that they can turn in for one series and the budget they had. So there's so many factors, and I think the decision was right to reformat it into 13 45-minute episodes per series. you know, I mean, we had that old format back in the classic series, and it worked fine. But it was, I think, this is a revitalization. So not everything needed to be the same, but it did feel like the same show, which was great. So yeah, I applaud Russell T Davies.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they sort of look like squids, the Ood, which is quite interesting. Like,
We don't need no food, Squidward.
yeah. It's a giraffe.
That's a great impression. Oh gosh,
Cheers.
it'd be funny if the Doctor ever got to see SpongeBob and Patrick under the sea.
Oh, yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, that was quite creepy there. That shot of the devil sort of thing. Like, yeah, I kind of like this. Like, they never really explored this before in Doctor Who. Like, literally, like, well, no, I suppose they did the demons. Like, you know, that's where they get the devil from in that story. But it's nice to sort of call back to that in this story, I guess. You know, with the, you know, this sort of creature supposed to be the devil, but yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely sort of that sort of, I won't say religious undertone, but there's definitely that sort of undertone of like the devil, because the beast definitely has kind of like a sort of that sort of design, you know, sort of like a Hellboy sort of design, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sort of looks like what Satan's described in the Bible, like horns and all that, you know. This is quite creepy here.
I mean, the voice, you're right, the voice is very creepy.
Yeah. I love that line in Pyramids of Mars, like, you know, where I go, I leave nothing but dust and darkness. I find that good, you know. Yeah. Well, Sutek says that, oh, your evil is my good, you know.
Yeah. Your evil is my ood.
Lol. Yeah, it's interesting he sort of possesses this guy.
Yeah, Toby. I don't know who this guy is. Like, I don't know what he does. He's obviously like studying these hieroglyphics. So is he some kind of Egyptologist or something? I mean, yeah.
Jesus, like all that marking on his hands is quite creepy. Like,
Yeah. And on his face. I love the red eyes. Wow.
Yeah, no, it looks really disturbing. Oh God.
See ya.
SpongeBob, me boy.
This story probably, I mean, this episode does take a bit of time, I think. But, you know, it's slowly building up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, it is a two-parter, so I guess we're sort of building up the suspense, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like how they develop the characters here. Like, you know, you kind of feel bad for them when they all get killed off. Well, the majority of them do.
Mm.
Yeah. CGI is really good in this. I mean, some of the CGI in Series 1 and 2 now is a bit dodgy, but like the CGI here and in the previous episode it's probably the best CGI so far I've seen. Like, none of it that I've looked at it and said, oh, that's a bit wonky, you know.
Yeah. That's natural wear and tear. But I mean, certain CGI has held up quite well. And considering this has now been remastered in Blu-ray, you know, in HD, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And one thing I am glad is they didn't George Lucas it.
Oh god, yeah.
Probably have the Doctor saying no.
Yeah.
Turn right, keep going for about 500 years. Did you see it?
Oh,
Old Jackie.
Yeah.
What's her
Hi,
old
Mom,
film?
I'm just sitting under a black hole. Yeah, how are you?
I mean, what happened to her old phone from series 1? You know, she could phone anyone in the universe, and she's like, oh, gets her phone out there. She's like, oh, no signal, but
I thought he upgraded it to for Series 2. I know he does the same with Martha in Series 3. He upgrades her phone.
no, but it's a different phone she has. In series 1, remember, he upgraded it, so he called Jackie in the past at the end of the world, but she just got her phone out there, and she's like, oh, no signal. It's like, I thought that phone could phone anywhere in the universe, but I think it's a new phone or something, yeah.
You have to get a mortgage.
She sounded like Tennant as well when she went, oh, yes.
Yeah, you can see now she is sort of utterly in love with him. You know, when she starts talking like him, you know, I think, yeah, that's when it sort of becomes a bit plain.
Yeah.
I don't
think they both. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, like, I don't mind it on this one occasion where like they make them fall in love. I mean, I wouldn't like this for every companion, but just the once is fine, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a fan of Doctor Fall in Love with companions, but it's more tolerable, you know, with Rose, because I mean, it just gets a bit annoying the way after Rose they try it with most of the companions apart from Donna. Like they tried it with Martha. Like she loved the Doctor. I mean, the Doctor didn't really fancy her, but I mean, I love Martha. She's a great companion, but they should have just like made her be the Doctor's friend, like instead of like, her sort of falling after him. But yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, they made a nice story arc out of it. How when she did prove herself to the Doctor and that she wasn't just second best, you know, and she was like, well, clearly he doesn't feel the same way about me, so I'm just going to get out and leave before, you know, before I start to feel like this again. So, you know, she had a good exit, so I'll give her that. Although obviously she came back for Series 4, but you know, that was still good.
Yeah. I mean, I think they explained the reason why the 10th Doctor sort of has his sort of English, I guess, Londonish accent is because apparently, like, he got that from being with Rose or something. But
yeah, well,
it gets sort of
Tennant was. He said in an interview that he was asked to do it British, to do it English. Russell T Davies said, "Can you do it with an English accent?" Because that's sort of more, you know, it sort of works more with the origins of the show. The fact that it is more of a British show, and it's, you know, I think they didn't want the Scottish accent to be sort of the thing that was kind of made known. I mean, they had the Northern Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, and that was fine, but you know, I guess also because Sylvester McCoy was associated with the show being Scottish, they just thought, we'll keep him British. It's just much easier. But yeah, no, Tennant pulls it off.
You know, I mean, I think what he said was that after Eccleston, who was from the north of England, you know, he had a Scottish doctor immediately afterwards. He said he didn't want a doctor, you know, he didn't want the accent sort of touring the regions of the UK. And
yeah,
you know, I think some people would like. I mean, like the Scottish accent sometimes, you know, could be hard for like other people to understand, like Americans, even like some English people. So, and like, you know, I mean, if you have like a gathered thick Scottish accent, you know, they may find it hard to sell it over waters, like, you know.
Yeah,
But,
and it just, I think it would just sound a bit odd. I think for Tennant's Doctor, with the, I mean, obviously in Tooth and Claw we get to hear his accent a little bit, and I can see it would never work permanently. It just, you know, it fits better to have a British accent for his version of the character. But you know,
yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
He's got the gorgeous.
Yeah, she is a very gorgeous lady. I wish she lived to the end of the episode.
I wish she'd lived near me.
Yeah.
I go in quarantine with her any day of the week.
Dirty bastard.
No, yeah, it is a shame that she dies. But you know, she was well acted for the brief moments she has.
Probably the best visuals of the story.
Yeah, as you would say. Well, at least you can say the CGI's held up. Oh, wait.
Nothing fake about her eyes.
Toby. He's
This is quite
walking in
creepy.
the air.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's creepy. It's like his rape face.
He's wondering, like, how can he breathe without a suit?
How do I live? How do I breathe? When you're not
shit, this
here, I'm suffocating.
Oh, Christ. Was she like, drawn to him?
Yeah.
I suppose because he's, like, got powers, like...
His smile is
Seeing
so creepy. It's like, it is literally like a rape face.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh,
Get
shit.
out of there.
Run out of there! Shit. Whoa.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why
Good music.
couldn't it just be that guy there that got killed?
Yeah. I like Marigold's music in this story. Bum, bum, dun, dun.
I like the guy here, the guy in the control room. I maybe it's the captain or something. I don't know who he is, but
I think he is. He's like the captain in charge. I think their captain actually is dead, so he was like the deputy, and now he's been put in charge. But yeah, he's worried he's out of his depth.
welcome to hell.
Dun, dun, dun. Now it's getting interesting.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a slow start, but I think it's picked up now, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe I prefer the Sideman two-parter to this, but yeah.
Yeah, because that one
It's a good story.
zips by. This one does take a little bit of time. Not that that's a major
Yeah.
issue, but yeah, it's not the most brisk episode.
Yeah. Still a good story, though. I mean, I still really enjoy it, but yeah, it is a bit of a slow burn.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell, Toby, you bastard.
You killed the
I don't blame him.
You killed the hottest character in this story. Damn you.
Yeah. Doctor should just flush him out of an airlock.
You can do it too with can do. Fresh discs from Duck. They keep your toilet squeaky clean.
The lighting of this story is very good.
Sometimes it's nice to sort of have like more like an insular space, and I think because this is like one small set, you've got you're able to do this sort of lighting a bit more effectively. Oh shit.
Oh god, there he is. Oh no.
We can gawp at her for one last time in all of her glory.
Yeah. But Brosnan would probably, if Pierce Brosnan was in this, he'd probably put on a spacesuit and try and sniff her in space. But
he'd struggle to breathe though because he'd have to take his helmet off to get real close. Yeah. She was 20 years old. Oh, bless her. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, I guess she is going to be hot now with that black hole. What's hotter, her or the black hole?
It was hot, but it's about to get hotter.
Oh no! Don't close the roof.
Don't
It kind of
let
reminds me.
the sun go down on me, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Katarina's death. Like,
Yeah. Although it's not nearly as intense, I think, as Katarina's death.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that story is just intense. There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's such a long story, but it's so good. My favorite William Hartnell story, I think, is that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, maybe we should do. I mean, maybe we should do. I don't know actually. Maybe we should do a commentary on that one day, but we'd have to like split it up into parts. You know.
Yeah, we
Right.
could do it. We could do it in two parts. but I think because it's 12 parts long. So like the first part would be like 3 hours
Parts
long.
1 to
And
5.
the other
Yeah.
part and on another day with like the last 3 hours. But yeah, perhaps that would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, parts 1 to 5, and then parts 1 to 6, and then parts
7
to
to
12.
Even though part 7 isn't really
Yeah, it'd
that
be like
necessary to the story, but it's still good.
yeah. I mean, that'd be like 2.5 hours each. Yeah, that'd be fun. We could do that one day. But yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I think my favorite Doctor Who episodes are the ones where there are consequences. Like, the Doctor just doesn't, reverse everything and everybody's alive and la di da. Like, I think my favorite episodes are the ones with consequences, like this story and Dalek's Master Plan Inferno, where he can't save everybody, where people do die, and there's a consequence. It's
And
not just
where the Doctor is at his most vulnerable, I think, as well. Like he's a flawed character. He can't just be this angelic hero who saves everyone and everything. He's going to lose people. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to kill people even and let innocent people get in the way. And that's the beauty of the Doctor. He's a very complex character for that reason. Because his intentions are strictly honorable, but sometimes he becomes mad with power. He goes dark, or he doesn't always have a companion to pull him back. Like it's why he's such a hard character to play. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Like, I think the best Doctor Who stories, are the ones with consequences, like Master Plan or Inferno and stuff. Where he can't save everybody. Where he can't just reverse time and save the world and everything's fine. Everybody lives. Like there are times when sometimes he just sometimes he can't even save anybody, which is great because it gives the show consequences. But
it allows the show to have stake, and it allows the show to diversify. Like if the Doctor saved everyone in every single story, it'd be so damn boring. No one would have stuck with the show. It's important to change the stakes and for the Doctor to go through loss and pain. Like Dalek's Master Plan is a great example of that. The finale, like the last part of that story, is so good. And when they lose, obviously they lose Katerina and they lose Sarah. It's tragic, very, very tragic. And when the Doctor and Stephen go into the TARDIS at the end, you just get, you're left with this kind of impact of shock. Like, oh my god, the way that it happened, the way that the story panned out was just amazing. Wow.
Yeah, I mean they won, but they kind of failed as well because they couldn't really save anybody. Like, Sarah got killed, Brett got killed, Katarina got killed. I mean, yes, they destroyed the Daleks, but everybody else died. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Mm.
and that's what you need sometimes. Like, I think that's one of the problems of the Moffat era as well. Is he had this stupid thing where he didn't want to kill anybody off. Like, I mean,
Except
in the
Rory.
Child. Yeah, except Rory, but even then he couldn't kill him off. He kept bringing him back. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like with the Moffat era, is just like, I mean, I don't mind it in the Empty Child Doctor dances where he says, oh, just this once, Rose, everybody lives. That's fine, but Moffat, he took that literally for almost all his stories. Like Simon the Daleks, nobody dies. A lot of his stories, the characters don't die.
Yeah.
They just,
And
he brings them back.
when Clara was supposed to have died in Face the Raven, she still comes back in the last story, so it makes the whole episode redundant.
Yeah, it does. It really does, and that's a shame. Yeah, I mean, it just has this thing where he just doesn't want to kill characters, and I guess I get it. Like you love a character, you don't want them to die, but it's like for fuck's sake, you have to have consequences, or else it's meaningless to watch it. If none of the characters die, like Rory, they killed him and then kept bringing him back, and then it's, the same with Clara. Face the Raven. You thought, all right, this is a good good send off, but no,
Yeah.
he ruined that story, made it redundant, and brought her back in hell bent for no fucking reason. But yeah,
that's true. The only time where I think someone did die was in The Girl Who Waited, when the other version of Amy died. That was quite sad, but I can't remember any other deaths in the Moffat era. There may be some in Capaldi's era, but I haven't seen all of Capaldi's stories, so yeah.
yeah. No, I like this whole bit though, where they're in the pit, like the Doctor and this woman, like quite atmospheric.
Mm. Yeah, the Oods start to go a bit mad.
Yeah. Dune platoon upon the moon.
You'll be catalogued.
Yeah, they brought them back for the Jodie Whittaker era, but I just have no interest. Like,
Yeah, well, when they decided to give the Doctor tits, that's when I decided to walk. So,
yeah. No, I mean, they brought Jack back in the Jadoon, but I don't care. I mean, when you start pissing all over the classic show, like retconning Hartnell's Doctor and all this other shit, like changing the Doctor's gender, just taking the piss. It's like, well, you could dangle a fucking carrot in front of me all you want. I'm not gonna bite it.
yeah. Some people would.
Yeah. I mean, this is good here, like where they find the pit with all the letters and stuff. Quite creepy, but yeah.
I'm surprised the TARDIS didn't translate that, but then again, the TARDIS is kind of lost somewhere. Normally, the TARDIS translation circuit allows them to translate anything.
Yeah, shit, the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Well, hell yeah, that voice is intimidating.
Now is where it gets intense.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
I mean, it's really intimidating.
Whatever happened to his wife? Oh.
Jesus. I mean, Gabriel's voice is great. That's like the Sue Texter has that dark, deep, whispery kind of soft voice. Like
Yeah.
oh shit, the Uda possessed now.
There's always something that goes wrong with the Ood. Whoever designed them never I've seen them proof check them. Within planets,
well, I think
they go wrong. I mean, they're just manufactured, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, no, I think they're. Well, no, I think they explain in Plan the U that they sort of became humanity's servants. Like, they got the brains in their hands, and then they took the brains out and gave them those sort of sphere things. I mean, the prosthetic on the U looks great.
Yeah, they look really creepy. Yeah.
Oh shit!
That Ood used the Force.
Imagine they called this because of the Ood balls, like the balls of doom or something.
Yeah. The scrotum of the Ood. Shit, fuck. Allons-y.
Alonso, Alonso.
Oh, sorry. Getting a bit tired.
It is a bit late, yeah.
Oh, it's all right. We'll get through the next episode, and then that will see us through.
Yeah, it is a bit slow, but it's good, you know.
Yeah, I think maybe this particular episode is quite long. Well, it certainly feels like it's long.
Yeah, maybe it could have just been one episode, but I don't know.
Yeah, feels like they may have dragged this one out into 2 parts.
Yeah.
But then again, you wouldn't want Love and Monsters as 2 parts, would you?
Oh Christ! I'd shoot myself if that was a 2-part story. Bad enough as one.
Mm.
Can you imagine absorb it off for 2 parts? You know. Oh, you know.
Sure.
You dabble with aliens. Now meet the genuine article.
Yeah. Plum. Elton, fetch a spade. I am the beast.
CGI's good here.
Oh yeah, and that's it. Oh, that was nearly an hour long, that episode. I swear to God, it felt like it.
Yeah, it was maybe a bit too much build up. So
Yeah. I think
Fine,
some
but-
of that could have been cut out, or they could have maybe had it as 1 part.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I've never gone back to it as much. But yeah, no, it was good. But most of the stuff that was good about it happened at the end, the very end. There's a lot of talking, and I think obviously the death of the girl was quite sad. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not as great as I remembered it. It is a bit slow, but still a good story. I mean, I still think it's a really good story. I mean,
Yeah, they did. They're spoiling it.
yeah, I don't know why they did this. Like, you know, you're right, they are sort of spoiling it. That's one thing I will say about the new series. Like that's the good thing about the classic series. When they had a cliffhanger, that was it. There was no next time trailer. I mean, I don't mind next time trailers, but you know, for 2-parters, it just seems a bit redundant. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
go ahead.
even for the standard episodes, like the 1 parts, like just be careful how you edit them because you don't want to give away huge plot spoilers. And I think you're right about 2-parters. If you got a 2-parter, don't bother with the bloody next time trailer, which is what Rise of the Cybermen did. It didn't have that next time trailer.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I agree with you. Even like the standalone episodes, that kind of spoil it. Like Bad Wolf, like Boomtown, but they sort of spoil the Return of the Daleks and Bad Wolf. It's like you know, it's called Bad Wolf for a reason because they don't want you to find out that the Daleks are in it, and then you have the bloody next time trailer. You know.
Yeah. But no, it's good that in this episode we get a bigger sort of glimpse on the beast, the actual beast. We get to see him, how big he actually is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of recap because there was a lot of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that voice is amazing.
And that title sequence still really holds up.
It's one of my favorites. I mean, I don't know if I'll say it's the best, but I love it. I love it. It's the one I grew up with. So I can't dismay it at all. Although I do wish that it had the faces of the respective Doctor in it. That's the one thing I would say. I would say have like obviously Tennant's face in it and Eccleston's face. You know, that would be nice. But fair enough. They wanted to do something a bit different when they revitalized the show.
Oh shit! It's by Matt Jones. I thought Rusty Davis wrote this.
No, actually, yeah, no, Matt Jones. One of the few stories that he wrote. I don't think he wrote many stories for Doctor Who, not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Ida, Doctor. I mean, James Strong is another good director for the show.
I think my favorite director of the new series is probably Joe Ahern and Graham Harper.
Yeah, Graham Harper has that history with the show though, so he's got that slight bit of experience to lend.
Yeah. No, I probably say my favorite new series director is Joe Ahern because he did Dalek. I think he directed Father's Day. Boomtown. He did the series 1 finale. But, yeah.
Luckily, I mean, he was given the sort of some of the best scripts to direct for, which was good. So, yeah. But I mean, Doctor Who always has a certain, I say certain formula, but I don't mean that in a sort of negative way. Like there is sort of fundamentals to it, but you can experiment, you can play around with it depending on what the story is and where it's set and who the aliens are. But the general sort of the one central thing you know the idea is to keep it scary, scare the audience. That's the goal. That's all you have to do. And you know, if you can provoke it with emotion and intrigue, then even better. That's bonus. But the first thing, just scare the audience, and that's what I would say if I was running this show. I would say, you know, let's just scare the audience, and that's what they want to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like the Phil Pinchcliffe here is my favorite because sort of went for that scary sort of horror vibe and they nailed it. And same with Russell D Davis, he just went, you know, let's scare the audience, you know, make it suspenseful, you know. You know, when you take death out of the show and you just make it, you know, sort of cheesy jokes and sexual innuendo and, you know, like Moffat and, you know, like it doesn't work, you know.
Doesn't work. And Russell T Davies, I appreciate adding more emotional depth to the show as well. Obviously, for a long time that had been lost. But, you know, obviously the companions were all sort of developed from an emotional point of view. We got to see sort of their lives, like Rose, Martha, Donna. They all had sort of their central, you know, story arcs and stuff. And there was several deaths which were emotional. I mean, even in series 3, when the Master dies, it's generally quite sad for the Doctor, which is a shame. And obviously, when he loses Rose, that's quite sad. And Donna's exit is very sad. So Russell really, you know, he knew how to invest the audience, and you know, a lot of people do really like Donna's exit, and they do think it's one of the saddest things ever. So Russell did his job and more, I think.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I do like about the new series is that they do develop the companions more like Rose, like you see her family. Like, you never really had that in the classic series. I mean, but I think one of the weaknesses as well, the new series is sometimes they over focus on the companions. I mean, Rose wasn't too bad, and you know Martha and Donna that wasn't bad, but I really felt like with Moffat, like you know, it sort of became more like it became more Clara Who than it did Doctor Who. Like Clara got so much fucking focus, and it's like the show's called Doctor Who, you know.
That's where it got really bad. But in the Russell T Davies era, it was I mean, all 3 of those companions, we got to see their family lives, which maybe wasn't necessary for all of them, but it was nice. You know, I'll let it slide because I think it works, and the families don't take over the series. I mean, Jackie's probably the one that gets most involved out of like the families, but Martha's family barely a feature in series 3 at all until sort of the beginning and the end. Donna's mum and granddad are sort of fairly involved as well, but I like them as characters. I like Donna's grandfather, Wilfred. Wilfred becomes a sort of a central character, really, for Tennant's last story. But Donna's mum can be a bit stuck up. But I mean, we'll get to series 4 at some point. But yeah, no, I do agree with those points.
No. I mean, I think with the Tennant here, they got a nice balance between the companion screen time for the companion and her family, and screen time for the Doctor. I just and I mean, for the most part, I think they did. I mean, maybe sometimes the companions were a little bit over focused, but for the most part, it was the companion. The Doctor was still the main character. I mean, you got more development of the companion, but the Doctor was still the main character. You got a lot of screen time with Moffat. It's just like Clara. She to me, I
Yeah,
think she got more screen time to me than I felt. It sort of felt like Clara who when it was supposed
yeah,
to be the Doctor the main focus, not Clara. But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you're not the only person that said that. You won't be the last person to say that.
yeah,
But yeah, I think what's great about the companion is that they act as obviously they're the Doctor's assistant, but when they share the screen time, and eventually the companion is supposed to evolve into someone stronger, that because of the Doctor. Like Rose is now a bit more self-sufficient. In the beginning, like say Joe Grant was kind of not dumb, but she was a bit unobservant to her surroundings and to what was going on. But she evolved as a character, and she became more independent and self-sufficient, and that was the arc, and it worked really well. So I'm not saying every companion needs to go on that arc, but they all need to evolve, and I think they all do evolve as characters, which is great. I mean, for the most part, I mean, there's the odd couple that don't do that. Obviously, Katarina, never got the chance to do that, but yeah, and I know that there's going to be a couple of companions coming up in Colin Baker's era where which don't appeal to many people. But there you go.
yeah. Now this is good here. Like with a beast is communicating through the ood.
Yeah,
No, I think what's good about the companion as well is that Rose and other companions like they sort of calm the Doctor down and sort of bring some humanity to the Doctor. I mean, I think the companion's sort of there to be our our gateway into the show.
yeah,
Like, companion asks the Doctor questions, and we sort of see what human would react to other worlds and things. But
yeah.
what
Like
I
you
like about
say, yeah.
Rose is that. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, no. I was just going to echo your point. Yeah, especially about like with Rose, they made a point of obviously introducing Rose, and then like Rose is the audience gaze. We are, yeah, like you say, we are the audience. She's the audience character, and we're following the companion, viewing all this as they're traveling. And yeah, no, it's always worked well that way. But when you try and switch it up and have the companion be the center of attention, with like that's when it just doesn't work. That's when you change the dynamic of the show too much, and you push aside the main character, and that's not the way you do it.
Yeah. I mean, I do think. I mean, I do like the character of Rose, but I do think, like after series 2, they should have just forgot about her because, it was nice to have her back at Soul Nerve Journey's End, but they sort of, her sort of presence did sort of take over the show. The Doctor moaning about her in series 3, and then there's all those Easter eggs throughout series 4 of her appearing on the screen saying "Doctor." Like, and then she said goodbye again at the end of Soul Nerve Journey's End. I do like Rose, but I think maybe they're a bit over focused on her, But I mean, at the same time, the Doctor's still the main character, and yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. No, I mean, I can forgive those sort of little minor things. I didn't mind Rose's return in series 4 at the end. I mean, they gave her the ending that she needed, and that was the end of that. Every companion sort of had their ending in that story. But I know why Russell did it because Russell was leaving in the next year, and he wanted to bring a bit of closure to the fourth season that he was running, and he was only going to have a year of specials afterwards, where Tennant's Doctor was basically on his own, and he had sort of like guest companions. So yeah, no, I see why he did it, but I understand your points.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good story, but maybe it is a bit too talky. There's a lot of talking in this 2-part. I mean, it's a good story, but yeah, I do
Yeah,
maybe there's a bit too much exposition, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit bored by this story. I'm not going to lie. It's like I thought by now we would be sort of zipping into some of the action a bit more.
Oh well, maybe now we are.
Yeah, maybe I got my wish, but yeah, I don't know how it compares to some of the other stories. I mean, I haven't seen this one in a long time, so my memory on it was very hazy. It's definitely
Yeah.
better than like Fear Her and Love and Monsters, and probably for
Oh,
me,
way better.
yeah,
Way better.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether maybe The Idiot's Lantern might be better than this. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking maybe, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, Idiot Slanter didn't drag as much as that. And yeah, this probably is the weakest two part of the series. I mean, it's a good story, but I just think very,
it's
very talky. Yeah.
it's a little slow. I think that's the problem. The pacing is a bit slow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, I was thinking like going into this, I might give it a 10, but I can't. It's probably a 9 or maybe even an 8 or a 10. But
Yeah, for me, it's sitting on about an 8 at the moment. Just
yeah,
but it could just be a 7. I don't know. For me, it's 7 or 8. I don't really know.
yeah, maybe agree with you. Maybe a 7 or an 8. Yeah.
I mean, there are some scary moments in this story. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, come on, cut to the chase now. We're in the second part now. We should really be getting on with this. We still have 35 minutes to go. I mean, this is worrying.
Yeah. It is very talky. Yeah, yeah. I think I actually might prefer the Idiot Lantern to this, but
Yeah. I think this story should have been one part. It's too long. It should have been one part. Then it would have flowed a bit better. I think.
it doesn't really justify 2 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great introduction to the Ood. Like, I love the Ood, and it's scary, and it's got its moments, but we haven't got to some of the best moments yet, which is worrying.
I mean, it's not a bad story, but yeah, it is too talky, just very, very talky.
Yeah, I don't mind some talky Doctor Who stories, but it's nice to, if the talky moments sort of build up to something, and if the story builds up for too long, then I'm going to find it slow, like some of the 7-part stories in Hartnell's era, like Marco Polo, that just built up to nothing. That was way too long, way too slow,
Yeah.
just dull. Like, I'm not saying this is that bad, but this. I mean, we've had some decent moments in this, but there's not a lot of like action in this story. There's not a lot of excitement at the moment.
Yeah. No, it's weird. Inferno 7 parts, but I mean I find that much more better pace than this, and that's like a 3-hour long story. It's like half the length, but yeah.
Exactly. Even though Inferno's in like 7 25-minute segments, it flows very well.
Yeah, that story zips along for 7 parts.
Yeah, maybe that's why I didn't remember this story very much, because it's just kind of dull.
Yeah. You should do a commentary on Inferno one day.
Yeah, maybe that would be fun. Yeah. Ugh, but it's nice to watch the new series on Blu-ray, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely not a bad story. Like, it's still, I think, a pretty good story, but it's just sort of a bit exposition heavy, just a bit, standing around talking. I mean, we've had a few deaths so far, but we haven't had much really happening. We should have had a few more action sequences here.
Yeah. What's crazy is you'll have to rewatch this story again at some point for your review. Which is
it's probably not as good as I remembered, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. When it's weird, The Idiot's Lantern is better than I remember, although I still don't love it. But this one is actually probably a bit worse than I remember.
Yeah, I used to love this one as a kid, but
I mean, when we get to the Beast, I mean that stuff is really good. That stuff is really interesting, but This is honestly a bit of a drag.
We should have had the Beast by now. That's the thing. We're in part 2. Like, we should have had more act. We should have had the Ood killing a lot more people. I mean, I know there's a lot of people in the base, but we should have had a few more deaths, or like a few action scenes where they're just running away, shooting at the Ood with a machine gun or something. You know, instead it's just kind of them talking to the doctor on the communicator, and
yeah, and they're like talking like how to get out and where to go, and just cut to the chase for God's sake.
yeah.
This might be
Yeah,
might be one of the worst
I-
two-parters in the Russell T Davies era, you know.
I never thought I'd say this, but I think I might actually prefer the Idiot's Lantern to this. Like,
I think I agree with you, and I didn't think I would, but
yeah, neither did I. I thought going into this, I thought, oh, this is going to be a great story, but no, it's good. I mean, it's not shit or anything. It's a solid story. It's just far too talky. Like,
I think that is the problem. It's too talky, and this could be my least favorite two-parter of the Russell T Davies era. It's not that it's bad. It's just like you say, it's too talky. Doesn't need to be 2 parts.
yeah. I think this is easily would have worked as 1 part.
Yeah.
You know? Jesus Christ, where's the Beast by now? Like, why is this taking so long? Ugh. I actually still have that action figure. I mean, he wore that suit a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
What other 2 parters did they have in the Davies era? I mean, they had the Doomsday. That was good.
Yeah.
They
If
had
we go from Series 1, so Aliens of London World War 3, Empty Child, Dr. Dances, Bad Wolf, Parting of the Ways, Rise of Cybermen, The Age of Steel, this. Then we had Army of Ghosts, Doomsday, Daleks in Manhattan, Evolution of the Daleks. Everyone hates that story, but I really like it. I think it's good.
Yeah, I actually like that story as well. I mean, it's not my favorite story ever, but I still really enjoy it.
And then
Series
Human
3 had
Nature.
the Master. Yeah, Human Nature, Family Blood. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and obviously then the last story is a 3-parter, which I love.
Yeah, that's very well paced with 3 parts, and then you got Series 4. You got Science of the Library Force of the Dead, Stolen Journey's End.
Stratagem, Poison Sky.
Yeah, you know, I think I even prefer that to this story, Stolen Stratagem, Poison Sky.
Yeah, this is my least favorite 2-parter of the RTD era. Sorry, Russell.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I see you, Rose, shaking that ass.
Yeah, I probably agree with you. It's just there's just not a lot going on here. Yeah, I probably
only
so
now
far
they're
give it a
starting to
7
do
out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks great. You got, good villains, I guess, and good characters, but it just,
This still has half an hour left. I mean, God, only now things are starting to sort of ramp up. This story did not need to be 2 parts. I'm sorry, but this script could have been cut in half, like literally.
Yeah. We don't need this dialogue. Just shut up and do something.
Just get on with it. Yeah.
Yeah, this really just feels like a 1-part story stretched out to 2.
Yeah, it's a very under average story. I think now it's gone down to probably a 7. Like there's good bits in it, but it's not as polished as some of the other stories. The Idiot's Lantern, I might actually give an 8 out of 10. I'm debating whether or not. I think it's made me appreciate the Idiot's Lantern a lot more, which is surprising.
Yeah, same. I thought going into this, this is going to definitely be better than Idiot's Lantern, and no, actually, I think Idiot's Lantern better paced, better, story and character here. I mean, this is good here now, but I mean, it's a bit too late,
Yeah, there's not much of a story. Like, I feel like the plot is very paper thin.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to he's trying to see what's in the pit, and it's taking him so long to get into the fucking pit, and so far it's just been gone a bit haywire, and that's it.
Oh, stupid man leaving himself to die in there.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, he's not even affecting the Ood. He's not even killing them. Just keep going, and
bullets can't stop it. The captain just fucking sits there for the entire story.
Yeah, he's just sitting there talking and talking and talking. Yeah, why don't you just move? Your bullets aren't doing anything, you idiot.
Yeah, move. Well, in your own time, because I've been sitting here for an hour and a half and I'm bored.
All right, you've killed one Ood. Big whoop.
Yeah. This is not the worst story of the season. Just to clarify, I do prefer this story to Fear Her and probably Love and Monsters, but I don't know if I could rank it much higher than that.
Yeah, no, it's a good story. It kind of suffers from a sort of lack of action.
Plot.
Yeah, plot.
Yeah, the poor pacing. Like, yeah, if it was one episode, it would have flowed a lot better. But no, it's just.
In my opinion, might change when I watch it again, but I don't think so. It's just very slow.
And now Jefferson is going to die. Oh.
Yeah. It's your own stupid fault.
What was that whole thing about his wife earlier? They mentioned something about, what happened to his wife, and then he's like, "Oh no, don't talk about that." Like, so the characters aren't even developed.
So boring.
See, that's the thing. They started killing off the characters earlier. Then there was a long gap when no one died. They were just talking, and now they're killing him off. It's like, this is just far too late. It's been ages since the first girl died.
Not only that, but like there's actually quite a few characters in this. She could have spread the deaths out like quite evenly throughout the two parts. Like have the girl die in part one, have maybe two other characters die in part one, then have the other 3 or 4 characters die in part two. No, it's like it's the second person you're killing off, and you're like halfway through part two.
That's not a good way to build the tension. You need to keep the momentum going. You need to keep the tension building. This story doesn't do that. It starts it, and then it just completely slows down. And now they're trying to build things back up again. It's just, it doesn't work because I've not felt invested in the story so far. Even though the first girl dying was tragic, but it just feels like after that, nothing was elevated. It deflated. That's the problem. The tension just deflated for me.
Yeah. I mean, they have quite a few characters. I mean, they must have like 8 to 10 characters. You could have killed 4 characters off in part 1, then 4 characters in part, 2, instead of like, waiting to kill a second character like halfway through part 2,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's getting interesting. There's some. This is kind of exciting, but he's still sitting down. Fucking stand up! You have to defend yourself against the Ood, and you're still sitting in your chair with your gun. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but I think Idiot's Lantern is probably better than this.
Yeah. It's funny how over the years my opinion on Series 2 has changed quite a bit.
Yeah. I used to love this story, but now I'm just like, it's all right.
It was all right.
No, it's better than all right. It's good, but it's not anything amazing, really.
Yeah, it's just decent. Like, it's not much of a story. That's well, that was quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Rose is good in the story. I like Billie Piper, and then David Tennant is always very good. But actually, the Doctor,
he hasn't even met the. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So, no, the Doctor doesn't do anything in this story. He doesn't do an awful lot. He's mainly does stuff in
Actually-
part 1, and then he just goes down into the pit, doesn't he?
Yeah, right. Actually, so far he's done literally fuck all apart from go. I mean, he hasn't even met the fucking beast yet. I mean, the cliffhanger of episode 1 should have been the Doctor meeting the beast. You know,
Yeah.
like, because I mean, part 1 had nothing in it. I mean, it had the death of the girl, and that was it. You could have had a few more deaths in there. That could have built the tension, but he hasn't even met the fucking beast yet. And we've got like
20 minutes.
Jesus, we've got like 22 minutes left, and he hasn't even met the beast yet.
Yeah, what should have happened was part 1. Okay, I mean, weird that they ended with them hearing the voice. Fine, but then within the first 10 minutes of part 2, they should have met the beast. But no, they stood around talking to Rose and everyone else on the space station. It's just so padded out. Like, there's too much window dressing in this story. Yeah.
What bit are you on?
When he's hanging on the rope and he's about to go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's releasing.
Yeah. Just a little bit silly.
Mm. Oh, for God's sake, just get to the fucking point.
Yeah,
Oh,
Christ.
this story is really infuriating me now. It's just like he's why didn't he just detach himself earlier and just go down? Like, do we have to have this scene? What relevance is this? Okay, maybe it adds to Ida's character, but we're not going to see this character for much longer. So I say just cut the scene out and just get to the fucking point by this.
Yeah, you're right. This is ridiculous. We're 20 minutes left and we haven't even got to the fucking beast yet. Jesus. This is far too dragged out. I mean, it's not a bad episode, but I mean, it did not need to be 2 parts. And you know, if you're gonna make it 2 parts, have something happen in the first, part. Have more people die. Have the Doctor meet the Beast at the end of part 1. That should have been a cliffhanger. Like, it's blackness, then he sees the Beast. Perfect cliffhanger. And you're 20 minutes left, and you haven't even got to the Beast.
Exactly, yeah. The only things that have really happened that are exciting are when the girl died, and then they were being chased in the ventilation shafts by the Ood. That was it. Nothing else has happened. They've just been talking.
Oh, this is drawn out. You should have taken the thing off already. Stop talking here and get to the fucking mission, mate.
See you, Doctor. I think that was obvious, wasn't it? That was green screen. Like David Tennant just sort of hanging there with like surrounded by sort of black nothing. Like, to me, the effects look really obvious when he fell down, especially.
Oh, this is boring.
I mean, I'll give it this. It's better than Fear Her and Love and Monsters.
Yeah.
But it's, geez, it's just. I mean, it's. I probably would say it's a 7 out of 10. It might even be a 6. I might just give it a pass, but it's going down and down for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Idiot's Lantern's more entertaining than this, and at least I had something going on. The pacing was good. This is just.
Yeah, I now have to apologize. I now have to apologize to the Idiot's Lantern for hating it when I was younger, but I now like the Idiot's Lantern more than this.
Yeah. God, we've got 18 minutes left. Just shut up and get to the fucking point. Kill somebody off or do something.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh.
I mean, I don't mind them building character. I mean, building character is good, but there's nothing going on here.
Exactly. There's no stakes to this story. It's ridiculous. The Ood aren't threatening enough. I mean, I suppose it's their introduction is all right. You know, the fact that they look scary, but they don't get many scenes to show off. I mean, the guy that wrote this script, I'm not surprised he didn't do many more stories. I don't know how many more he did. Was his name Matt Jones or something? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a bad script, but it's just, you know, and it's not a bad story, but it's just, you know, it's just not doing anything. I mean, you know, it is nice that they're building character. I do like that, but you know, you need to have some stakes. You know, bloody hell, like, you know, the captain's just talking to Rose now. Just get to the fucking point. You know, God,
Yeah. It's
dragging itself out.
it's too long. It's drawn out. It's dull. It's really dull. I really am disappointed. Actually, I really thought we were gonna get excited by this story, but I was wrong.
Yes. Are you in a bit where they're taking Rose away? Oh, God, yeah.
Why are they tranquilizing her?
Yeah. I don't get that. I lost 2 men. I'm not leaving you behind. Well, who do you care? She just arrived.
Yeah,
That was a nice.
just arrived with the doctor.
Yeah. We've got like 16, 15 minutes left, and yeah.
Oh, you think after a certain point it would build up and you would get to sort of a bit more action into the story or a bit more excitement, but no, it's only now does the doctor finally get into the pit.
Yeah, I'd say 6 or 7. It's just dull. Dull. A Plan of Food was a better story than this.
It was much better. And it was one part, you know.
Yeah, this needed to be one part. You know, I mean, I wish I was a script editor because, you know, I mean, this didn't need to be 2 parts, but if it was going to stay as 2 parts, I would have, you know, I would have done a re-edit of the script, have more people die in episode 1, have the Doctor meet, you know, the Beast sooner instead of the last 10, 15 minutes of the episode.
Why are they bringing Rose with them?
Well, I guess he said, "Oh, you know, I don't want anyone else to die or he lost men." But
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, she's just sitting there as well, you know.
So they left Ida behind as well.
Yeah, that's stupid. I mean, Doctor, you were too slow to respond. No, she wouldn't.
As if I have to kill.
It's boring. I was really looking forward to this, and it's not a bad story, but I mean, Jesus, is it padded out? It is so padded out.
What a disappointment, you know. It's a real disappointment.
It's not a bad story, but it's just like it's just padded out. It's just really padded out. So much exposition. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I never thought that from a David Tennant story as well.
I mean, it's not a stinker. I mean, it's probably, yeah, good or passable, but it's nothing amazing, really. I mean, why this long to get to the Beast? Seriously.
Yeah.
You got 2 episodes. Why couldn't you just have ended part 1 with him seeing the Beast? You know, instead you leave it.
Yeah. It feels like both of these episodes are like an hour long.
Yeah. The CGI of the Beast there is good, but it's a bit too late.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that. The Beast does look pretty cool, but it's far too late to finally get to him. You know, it takes ages to get to him. It's hardly worth it, really.
Yeah. Cliffhanger should have been end of episode 1, Doctor, falls into the pit. He wakes up. He sees the Beast. That's it. Perfect cliffhanger. Instead, no.
Yeah.
It was
Part two
literally
should have
12
been.
minutes.
Part two should have primarily focused on this. Like, it's so long.
Well, just shut up, Doctor. I'm tired of you talking.
Yeah, 12 minutes left.
I kind of wish the Beast would just eat the Doctor. I mean, that'd be shocking. Kind of
Positively
stop him
shocked.
talking.
I think what helps is like it doesn't help when we've not been invested in this story from the beginning, so we can't really say that when it gets to this that there's any impact really because we just don't care about the story anymore.
Some of that CGI there looks a bit dated with the Tennant on the cliff. You can tell he's not there, but for the most part, that CGI is really good, like the Beast. But
Yeah, I'll let them have it. It's good. I mean, Series 2 is undoubtedly David Tennant's weakest series, but it's still it's still very good. But there's a couple of disappointments, sadly.
Yeah. Sadly, this is probably part of the pile of disappointments with Love and Monsters and Fear Her, but
yeah.
I mean, it's still some really great episodes like the Rise of Saruman, Age of Steel, the finale, Tooth and Claw. But then you get School Reunion, but then you get episodes like Love and Monsters and Fear Her, and
then this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great either. It's decent, passable,
I would rank it very low. I would rank it probably third from bottom.
Yeah, I might have to agree with you. I mean, it's just drawn out. It really is drawn out. Oh, just shut up, Doctor. Seriously, you've just been talking this whole story. You've done nothing. Ugh.
I would have liked more of the voice, actually. The voice of the Beast is great, but we don't hear enough of it in the story.
Yeah, agreed, yeah. And that's the best stuff in the story. The stuff of Gabriel Wolf as, the Beast, but yeah, he's not in it enough, and the story's just... For fuck's sake, Doctor. You should have just smashed it. Instead, you're just talking to him again. God.
I destroyed the rocket.
I don't find this interesting. Like all he's done is talk to it for like the last 5-10 minutes. Like,
yeah. I just kind of want it to be over now.
Yeah, same. I'm kind of shocked I'm saying this because I used to love this, but it's just so padded out now. Rewatching it, I mean, it's not bad, but it's nothing like amazing. Like
even Toby just told Rose to shut up.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad someone realized that people have been talking too much in this story.
What other choice?
Why don't you just do something, Beast?
I mean, the dialogue's not bad. Don't get me wrong. The script is solid, but it's just too damn long. Like the guy that I think Matt Jones, the guy that wrote this, should have they should have hired a script editor to write to adjust his script because a bit padded out for 2 episodes, which is quite surprising because 2-parters are normally quite brisk.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's a good story, but it's just it could have been so much more. Like Tennant says, so much more. Really, yeah. It's just dull. There should have been a lot more action for a 2-part story.
And that's all he does. He just smashes the bloody vases.
Vase, yeah.
Yeah.
This is good here. I like this bit. Fire comes out of his mouth.
I also don't like they never explain why Toby is connected like that. Like why the voice kind of transmits through him. They don't really explain that for some reason.
Well, I think that Beast just best him, but yeah. Whoop.
Reminds me of Goldfinger.
Yeah.
The big sucked out the window.
I think Series 2 is a big letdown after Series 1. I mean, it's a good series, but there are a few ones in there I don't go back to really.
Yeah, I still say it's really good. Yeah, but the stories aren't as good as Series 1. But I still prefer Tennant as the Doctor. That's just me.
Yeah. So yeah. No, it's still a really good series. It's still a pretty strong series. There are like 2 or 3 stories in there that aren't amazing, but yeah.
It's falling. You're not falling. You're flying.
Oh god.
But she dies. Why did she wait there? She should have gone for the rocket while she had the chance.
Yeah. The way she fell asleep, like, yeah, I think she sort of summoned up the audience at this point.
Oh, that's convenient. The TARDIS just ends up right there, doesn't it?
Yeah. For fuck's sake, this is just way too dull.
Well, at least we got Murray Gold's music to keep us entertained.
I might have to say maybe a 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well. And I hate to say that. Like, I really hate to say that.
Yeah, same. I mean, maybe it'll change when I rewatch it, but I find this far too dull. Far too dull.
It's way too slow.
I'd say this is probably the weakest 2-parter of the days. It just feels, padded. It just feels far too padded out for its own good.
Mm.
I think it's just padded out. That's the thing.
Yeah, and that climax actually was quite unfulfilling with the Beast. Like, it wasn't that long. I wish that was like most of the second part was in that pit. That would have been excellent. And also, it could have been intercut with them trying to get to the rocket, and then that ending bit with the rocket. See, that would have actually been exciting, but no.
And a few more character deaths. Like, there's at least 3 or 4 characters aboard that ship. They're still alive. Like, there's the one with the Doctor, and there's like 2 or 3 in the ship with Rose. You could have killed a few of them off earlier, getting more stakes, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, wouldn't it have been a twist? Sorry, wouldn't it have been a twist if they killed all of them? Like, if the rocket ended up going into the black hole? See, that would have been a dramatic ending to this story.
That would have been great. Yeah. That would have been great, actually.
I mean, that's not me being like, morbid by trying to kill everyone off, but just it would have added something to this blandness,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I agree with you. Like, some of the best Doctor Who stories, they just sort of kill off all the characters, and it adds the stakes. Here, like most of the characters are, well, I mean, a lot of them have died, well, but it's just it's there's still a lot of them that are alive, and they could have, they killed. I mean, they could have had one survivor at the end, or maybe two at the most, but like we've got like 3 or 4 survivors at the end there, and it just feels a bit, oh come on, like that's the thing, like there's not many characters in the base, not many of them die, like and when they do die, it comes a bit too late in the episode, when there isn't much impact, and like you said, that climax with the Doctor's a bit unfulfilling. He just smashes a couple of vases and that's it. Like, yeah. There's like 3 survivors at the end. They could have had like 2 or maybe 1 survivor. Like that would have been good, Or like you said, maybe none. That would have been dramatic. But no, like.
Yeah, I mean the captain did nothing in this story. He literally just sat in his fucking chair at his fucking desk and now in his fucking rocket. Fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Shit.
I agree with you. It would have been dramatic if, like, say, the Doctor thought he saved them all at the end, but like the Beast just before it died destroyed the rocket. That would have been dramatic, and it'd be a dramatic end to the story. Couldn't save them, but no.
Yeah, I would have liked that.
And the next story.
Is this the way to Amarillo?
God. Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? It's weird. We have probably the 3 worst stories back to back. Love and Monsters, this story, and Fear Her, the weakest of series 2, back to back.
Yeah, they all come in sort of one in one stint, don't they?
Yeah.
You got 3 out of 10 stories? 3 out of 10 stories. That's not bad,
Yeah. No, majority of them are good, but sadly that was disappointing. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry for all our viewers, but I seriously didn't expect it to be that dull. I mean, the Idiot's Lantern was good. That was enjoyable. Thinking about it now, it was actually pretty good. This story, what the fuck happened? I don't know. I used to like it. I mean, I never watched it that much, but now I don't really like it. Well, it's all right. I mean, it's passable, but jeez, the pacing. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. No, I was thinking 7, but then I was thinking, nah, it's not even that.
Not even
it's just it's far too talky. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't mind them building up characters and stuff, but there's no stakes. I mean,
yeah.
The captain was just kind of wasted.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
What did he do? What did he do? Just like you said.
Yeah. Before we continue, let's backtrack to the Idiot's Lantern and give that our rating and whatnot, and then we'll return to this story. So, how would you sum up the Idiot's Lantern, Jack, and what would you rate it out of 10?
Overall, the Idiot's Lantern, I think it's actually a very good story. I mean, it's not a classic, but I think it's a very good story. It's well paced. I like the stuff with the dad. Yeah, I like the stuff with the dad, like the drama, family drama there, and I like the Wire and the sort of faceless people in the story. That's good, and I think it's a fun episode. I like the 50s setting. I like the attention to detail. It's a good story, and I mean, I suppose my only real criticisms would be maybe some of the lines are a little bit cheesy and the Wire just get a little bit annoying, but it's still a good story. And
David Tennant's haircut.
Yeah, David Tennant's haircut. But apart from that, I don't really have any flaws with it. It's a pretty good story and very solid, and it sort of zips along, pretty good pace in it. So I'll probably give that an 8 out of 10. But yeah.
Nice. I'll just quickly do mine, and then we'll move on to the next story. The Idiot's Lantern. I really appreciate this story a lot more now, even actually after watching the next story, which is bizarre. But I enjoyed this one. It's good fun, but I wouldn't say it's anything more than that. The story's hardly anything groundbreaking. For me, I'm not convinced by some of the performances, like Mr. Magpie. I'm not convinced by that actor or the boy that plays the son, Tommy. I mean, he's all right, but they're just not. They're not the best. They're not the best, but it is entertaining, and the concept of the Wire is quite cool. But again, the really hammy performance, the cheesy dialogue, just it does get a bit irritating. But I mean, aside that, it's pretty good. I mean, there's some good family drama in the story. It's nice that they set it during the 50s with the coronation, during a big historical event. That was nice. The Doctor and Rose are very good in it. I think David Tennant is brilliant in it. Billie Piper's
Yeah.
good, but she doesn't do as much because she gets her face taken off. But still, it's a fun episode, and it zips by. It's pretty good. I do think the magpie thing though could have potentially been rewritten a little bit. There are ways he could have got out of his situation, but that aside, it's fun. So I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. It's good fun, and I definitely appreciate it a lot more now, and it is actually good. So yeah, now moving on to The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. Well, it's one story, but 2 episodes. So Jack, give us your summary on that.
Yeah, well, I used to love this as a kid, and it's not a bad story by any means. Like, I don't watch it and think, oh God, this is a piece of shit. But watching it again, I was kind of shocked because I thought, I thought it was, I was really going to enjoy it, but it's far too talky, far, far, far too talky. Not enough really goes on in it. Quite frankly, it didn't need to be 2 parts. It could have easily been a 45-minute episode.
Yeah,
There's just way too build up. There's way too much build up to an anticlimax. Like,
yeah, and also like the Ood are underused in their first ever story. That's a shame.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I thought they were in the story a lot more, going by my memory, but watching it again, they're not in it that much. I mean, they're in most of episode 1, but then like halfway through episode 2, it's like they forget about them. And I mean, it's not like a horrendous or anything. I'm not watching it thinking this is crap, but it's just there's far too much exposition, far too much talking, and I mean, I don't mind character development. That's good. I mean, I do like some of the development of the characters, but the characters just don't do anything. And like the captain, I mean, he is the most wasteful character in the whole story. He just sits around there talking and talking and talking, and he does fuck all. He
Yeah,
spends the whole story sitting behind the desk talking to the Doctor. Then he's in the shuttle talking to Rose and everyone, and they should have just killed him off because.
yeah,
And I think the thing is, there's no real stakes to the story. I mean, you got the
yeah.
girl who dies at the start of part 1, which is dramatic. But then after that, we don't have a character death to like part 2 when the guy
Yeah, with
in the vent
Jefferson.
dies.
Yeah. I think what would
Jeff-
be interesting, perhaps, if maybe the captain turned out to be a villain, that might have added a bit of stake to the story. Like maybe having another human villain. I know Toby was kind of a villain, although he was being controlled, he was sort of being possessed, which was never explained. I don't know how that happened. It was just like the voice just found him, and then that was it. But yeah,
Yeah, not only that, but I just think, the episode it pads itself out. I mean, the
Yeah.
Doctor, like you said, he just does nothing in the story. I mean, he puts on a suit, he talks a bit, he falls in a pit, smashes a couple of vases, and that's it. Like, I mean, if you think about it, that's all he does. Like, he just talks and talks, and I just wanted the Doctor and all the characters in this story to shut up after a while, because it was 2 45-minute episodes of just constant exposition. And
and that is
I mean,
bad when the episodes feel longer than they are. They feel like they're an hour long each, and that's the worst thing.
yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, I just think, like, you could have really spread out the characters' deaths. Like, there was like 3 characters that were alive at the end of it. You could have had, the captain died maybe in episode 1. The one with the Doctor maybe died. Somebody, like, you could have spread out the characters' death, like 3 or 4 people die in episode 1, then like 3 or 4 people die in episode 2, and maybe have none of them survive at the end. Like, the Doctor tried his best, but maybe at the last minute, the Beast destroyed the rocket, and like, he thought he saved them, but he couldn't, and that would have some impact on the story. Like, the Doctor couldn't save anybody, but no.
Yeah,
And I mean, there's good things in it. Like, I will say, it's nice to have Gabriel Wolf back as the voice of the Beast. I do like the guy who plays Toby, like, when he becomes the Beast, that's cool. And the Ood, and it's shot well, it's directed well. Like, there's some good action in there, but there's not enough action. There really isn't. It's just
I think it's
just
the script. The script is the biggest issue. It's such an empty story. There's nothing happens in it.
There's a good story in there, but it just pads itself out. It's too long. It should not have been 2 parts. And if they were going to do it 2 parts, you should have just you should have had more going on in those 2 parts, because I just think it's ridiculous that the Doctor only gets to meet the Beast in the last 15 minutes. Like, part 1 should have been he fell down the pit and then he saw the Beast. That's the cliffhanger. But no, he only meets him in the last 15 minutes. And even then, that gets a bit boring, because it's just the last 15 minutes. He's just constantly talking. And it's a dull story. Like, it really is. It's not bad or anything. I don't watch and go, that's a piece of shit. There are some good moments. I think the bit where Rose shoots the windscreen, she says, "Oh, go to hell," and then the Beast dies. That's good. But
she kills Toby.
God, it's just too dragged out and padded for my liking. So,
and the Ood. Oh my God, they wasted the Ood.
Yeah, they wasted the Ood. And to be honest, I think Planet of the Ood's a much better story.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a new story, go for that.
But Murray Gold's soundtrack for the story is good.
Yeah, I will go. And visually CGI is great. I love the sets of the base, and
The
some
black
good
hole.
acting. And the black hole, that was good. It's not a train wreck of a story, but it's
boring.
It's just not great. It's great. Yeah, boring. That's the thing. Not enough happens in it. Quite frankly, it should have been 45 minutes. So I'll have to close off by giving it a 6 out of 10. It's passable, but it's nothing great. And it's quite, it kind of pains me to say that. It's kind of a sad thing, because I wanted to go in there and love it. Like, I was thinking when I was going into this, this is going to be a 10 out of 10, because I remember loving it, and then I was just like, oh, yeah, just dragged itself out, sadly. But
yeah. Well, as for me, I kind of pretty much agree with you. Sadly, I never really remembered much about this story. I had seen it like years ago, and I think I liked it more when I was younger. It's sad. This story for me is just dull. It's too long. The script is boring. There's not enough plot. The plot is wafer thin. Like, there is really not much to this story. I don't even know what the plot is, really. It's there's something about a black hole. There's something about this Beast who's controlling Toby, and they have to try and stop the Ood when they turn evil. Yeah, there's not much explanation to the plot. Despite, you say it's an exposition heavy story, but it's an exposition heavy story with no exposition, if you know what I mean. It's just characters talking about pointless things without actually explaining anything. That's the problem. I don't understand this story. I don't actually follow it. I can't follow it. It's incoherent, which is a shame, a real shame, because David Tennant is my favorite Doctor. But even I have to admit, he does have some duds in his era, and this is one of them. Yeah. Not that it's terrible, but there are entertaining moments in it. There's barely any excitement or action in it, and I think it's just, I don't even know if I could really give it a pass now. I'm thinking about it. It's just very mediocre. Yeah. I think actually I would give it a 5 out of 10. And I hate to say that, but it's an all right story. But the Beast looks cool. The CGI looks great. I love the music by Murray Gold. But to me, this story drags on for too long. It builds up to nothing. Rose is good in the story. I like Rose. All the supporting cast they try their best, but their characters are bland. The captain, like you said, is fucking wasted, And the Ood look great, but they are wasted in their own story. It's such a shame. I think you could have had the captain maybe turn into a villain, or one of the other guys turn into a villain to add more stakes to the story. There is no stake to this story. It's a real shame. it's a real shame. It's a disappointment. I don't hate it. I think the guy that plays Toby is really good. And with all the hieroglyphics that are drawn onto his body and with the red eyes, I like that. That's really, really quite creepy. And when he kills the young 20-year-old assistant, the girl at the beginning, that was pretty tragic. She does well in that moment, but I guess I just can't get into this story. It's a real shame, and it just confirms to me that series 2 is not as good as the previous series. Despite that, I prefer David Tennant as the Doctor, and it is David Tennant's weakest series. Out of the 3 series that he did, it's definitely his weakest, which is a shame, a real shame. But I like the set. The set of the space station is really good. The rocket stuff was all good. The ventilation scene could have actually gone on for longer. I think that action sequence could have been longer. That was the only bit of excitement in the episode, which was a shame.
Yeah.
By the time we get to the Beast, you're just so burned out by the slow pacing that you just don't care anymore. Like you said, all the Doctor had to do was smash 2 vases. That was it.
That was all his use in the story.
Exactly. The Doctor is like wasted in his own story. He doesn't get a lot to do. He's present mostly in the first half of the story, yes, but when he goes out in his spacesuit, he just tries to get down to the pit, and then he spends too long talking to Ida, and it's just boring. I mean, again, David Tennant is great, and Billie Piper is great. All the cast try their best, but at the end of the day, the script is the problem. And the guy, I think Matt Jones is his name, who wrote the script. I'm sorry, he could have come up with something better than this, and they could have edited the script a bit more. This story would have been better as 1 part, not 2, and they needed more of a plot, because I don't understand what the plot was. I mean, I can't make out what it was. So I think this story is honestly kind of, thin. So thinking about it now, I actually am going to have to give this a 5 out of 10. I'm sorry, I didn't want to. I really didn't want to, but it's a very mediocre Doctor Who story for me, and it's not the worst of series 2. There are a couple that I put a bit lower than this, but for me it's like third from the bottom. It's the weakest 2-parter of any of the Russell T Davies series. So that hurts me to say that. That's it. That's I'm afraid so. But I mean, if you like this story, then fair enough. That's your opinion. But me and Jack, we just couldn't get into it. I mean, what a surprise! It turned out that the one we thought we weren't going to like as much ended up being the one we preferred.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, and you know what? Thinking about it now, I mean, you explained it perfectly. I think maybe I was being a bit generous giving it a 6. I think I might have to bump it down to a 5 as well. I mean, it's not awful by any means, but you're right. There's not enough story there really. It's the plot is paper thin, and like, what did the Doctor do? The whole story: talk, fall down a pit, and smash a couple of vases. That's really not enough for a 2-part story. I mean, that's literally next to fuck all. He smashed a couple of vases, big whoop. I could do that. And you fell down a pit. Well done. Well done, Doctor. But
there's nothing really intuitive about the script. It's not clever. It's not really even that witty. I mean, there's good moments, but they're far and few between, as far as I'm concerned.
It's just dull as dishwater. I mean, visually it's nice, good sets, good acting, but there's just a lack of tension, stagnant tension. I mean, it drags itself out. And, I'm really surprised, because I thought going into it is going to be a 10 or maybe a 9, but as the story went on, I thought, oh God, this is really starting to drag here. And then I was thinking maybe 7. I was thinking maybe 8 out of 10, and 7 out of 10, then 6. But no, I think I'm definitely settling on a 5 out of 10. I mean, I mean, it's not awful, but it's just, it drags. It's just the plot is paper thin. There is no plot there really. I mean,
could you recall? Could you like recall what the story was? Because after watching it, I still don't understand what the story was.
Yeah, it was. Well, I guess they're trying to escape this black hole, and there's like a beast devil thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's about as descriptive as it gets.
The story's fine. I think the story's fine, but it's just there's nothing that happens in the story. Like the story's not hard to follow. It's just nothing happens in it. The beast should have done a lot more. The beast should have been. You know what would have been good if this story, like bits of the station were like blown up by the beast. Like they'd have to find another way out. Like parts of it are cut off by fire and stuff like that. And
yeah,
the beast blows up. Where more people died in there, and they're running away from the Ood. They had a few more action scenes, but no, most of the story was just part one. I mean, it was completely redundant. Part one, he was about to go into the pit, but then no, he doesn't go into the pit. It takes him another 30 minutes to get into that pit. I mean, part one would have been fine if he Part one would be fine if he got in that pit and met the beast, but no,
I think funny. We talked earlier about the sort of the claustrophobia. I don't think this story utilized that very well. You had a great set, but you didn't really utilize every aspect of it. You had characters standing around and talking. The only time I felt claustrophobic was in that ventilation scene, but even then, it was again too little, too late. By that point, that was in like halfway through the second episode, so they could have. There's so many missed opportunities in this story where they could have shown us a real classic Who story. I don't know if the direction on the story is all that good, So yeah, I mean that's kind of how I feel. It's a very mixed bag. It's very disappointing for me. My rating of 5 out of 10 stands. I'm sorry to people that like this story, but I can't get into it. I don't think I'll be watching this one again anytime soon. Yeah. Sadly. And there's not many disappointing Tennant stories. The main disappointing ones come in this series. Yeah. I mean, this where we have like this, then Love and Monsters, and Fear Her. They're the most disappointing David Tennant stories for me, but
3 duds in a row. Yeah.
I mean, series 3 is pretty damn impressive actually. After this series 3 and 4 really raised the bar. So I'm not going to knock them too much, but series 2, they sort of fell back a little bit, but they managed to keep it more or less afloat, other than 3 stories. But that's just how I feel.
Well, Thief just said there's some serious language for me, but I don't recall swearing that much, and if I did, it's probably because I'm frustrated with the story, but I don't remember swearing that much. But yeah, I don't really remember saying much. But it's a real disappointment for me, really, because I was going in there thinking, oh, this is one of my favorite stories from series 2, because I always remember really loving this, and then watching it again, I was quite disappointed, really. I mean, it's not a bad story by any means, but it's just not good either. I mean, it's just very bland and boring, and nothing much happens really. It's just it's just dragged out too long. It shouldn't have been this long, but there you go.
Yeah, it's sad that it's one of David Tennant's weakest stories.
Yeah, that is a shame, really. But
yeah. I mean, I'm sure if we I mean, at some point we'll probably commentate on the next couple of episodes and then the finale. So
God.
Yeah,
that's Jesus. I mean, I'm another couple of crap ones. I don't know if I could sit through, but no, I probably will be. Yeah.
I mean, what might be nice is maybe if we backtrack a bit. I mean, as we've done series 2, we may as well finish it. I mean, we could go back and start like maybe New Earth, Tooth and Claw, School Reunion, Girl in the Fireplace. Do like 4 episodes. Then it's like 3 hours. And then maybe do that.
Or maybe we could just maybe we just do the final disc, which would be 3 hours, which would be Love Monsters and Fear Her, and then the finale. And we could do maybe series 3 or 4, but maybe a couple episodes from that. Maybe next time. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I know you're going to be reviewing series 2 soon anyway, so we could do the next disc. and watch the last 4 episodes, which would be a 3-hour commentary, but it would be fun. Obviously, there's a 2-parter, and then there's 2 single ones, but that's fine. You know, this was fun. I think we pretty much covered everything. So, blimey, we've actually been on for nearly 3 hours, which is crazy. That's how long the fucking story was.
Yeah.
That's how long it felt sometimes, but damn. Anyway, yeah, that's it, guys. So thank you very much for watching and listening. And what do you think of The Idiot's Lantern and Impossible Planet's Satan Pit? Please leave your comments down below. Let me know. Thank you to Jack for joining me, and please subscribe to Jack the Film Fanatic. And yeah, until our next commentary. So, Jack, is there anything you want to say before we hit the hay?
Not really. Just, you know, see you next time when we do probably the last part of series 2, or maybe we might do series 3 or 4, a few episodes from that next time if we're not in the mood to commentate over the 2 crap fests in series 2. But, yeah. No, but I've enjoyed this. But at the same time, I was kind of disappointed that this 2-parter wasn't as good as I remember. But at the same time, it was interesting to go in there for fresh perspective. Like you said, it's odd because the one we thought we would like more, we actually ended up liking less, and the one we liked less, we ended up liking more. But there you go. You know?
Yeah.
Weird, but,
well, that's sometimes it's funny how you look at it like that. But yeah, no. So that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.